Hey there, friends. Hey there. I'm just so excited that you guys finally got to see my part on the show. I'm Dave the Dragon Rider. You know, that was my head on the table there. I didn't get any I did do some speaking parts, but they cut it. Nettles, now I know how it feels to be cut from the show.
Yeah.
But yes, that was my burnt head. And no, it was the shepherd. It was that Damon killed that shepherd and he that sucks.
That poor shepherd.
I do like Raina's hair better. Welcome to the show, Estella Graves. You're joining me and Nettles today. Very happy to have you. Hello, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to talk about this episode. This is going to be so fun.
I
Yeah,
tried to up. I was trying to up my cosplay to make Nettles feel or make Estella feel comfortable here at home. You know, really just trying to get up to the par of my guests who consistently outdress me. Thanks, Nettles, with your creative,
I do like
shimmery
them.
makeup and different wigs and stuff that you're actually. You guys both use wig tape. I just throw this thing on, you know.
I'm not using wig tape.
No,
It
it's
looks
just talent.
wow, it looks really good. I was going to say it's locked in. So,
You probably spent more than $20 at the Halloween store for your wig, though, right?
Definitely, definitely. But yours is the
Definitely.
right color. At least yours is the right color.
that's true. You have the platinum silver, whereas we're both like a little closer to the golden Targaryen hair. So,
Well, yeah, well, I think, yeah, you kind of look silver gold. She's gold. I've got the platinum white silver. Yeah, so we've got the whole range, actually. And yeah, we are abominations born of witchcraft. And what did Ormond say? There was a lot of anti-Targaryen propaganda in this episode, frankly.
yeah. Really intense, and then the imagery of, I mean, we'll get to it, but like the chained up to Sarion, I was like, oh my gosh. So we're
Yeah,
going real dark with Ormond.
It's very
yeah.
interesting to talk about this sort of Orm. Oh, you're a high tower. You have the taint in you, but you know we've raised you under the light of the seven. Now kill this innocent guy here, and
It's crazy. It's crazy. We're like, I
delicious.
just, oh, yeah. If we're gonna just jump right into it, like that was like, I just have to give Orman like all the awards for scenes, for acting. Like this is what I've been asking for in the show, which is like this good writing and making a change from the books, but making it better. Like please don't make changes just because, like I only make it if you can write better than George. And this is like an embellishment, right? It's not really a change.
No,
Like we
this
don't know.
was
It's
the
an
Ormond
embellishment.
episode. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to jump in early. Yeah, this was the Ormond episode. He really was. James Norton was shining. Hero with 1,000 voices in the chat. Ormond, you're
Hey,
going to
hey,
smoke this
Sean.
whole pack of cigarettes, boy.
Oh my gosh.
And I think I like saw somewhere in one of those like behind the scenes interview clips, or maybe I read it somewhere, that I think he said that he's playing Ormond almost kind of like a biohacker, like tech bro, like one of these people that's like, I'm efficient and I'm like, zero empathy. I'm going to get things done. And I feel like you could really see that this episode in just how kind of efficient yet cutthroat he was.
No, I get he's microdosing the smelling salts. He's taking dabs and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
he's this checks out your theory.
Yeah. I think they're hinting at something more sinister. Like I feel like we can start adding that label to him. Um, because yeah,
Quite.
there's been a grand plan, and that's why the High Towers have not been talking to us at King's Landing. They're planning their own stuff, and like now I know our book fandom is gonna go crazy with new theories about what the High Towers are up to, um, based on this. They've given us so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I said, this idea that the Targaryen blood is evil and you have the taint, but we've raised you right. Don't make friends with the drag. I've advised you not to make friends with that beast. Like that was
Yep.
again very good writing. It's like he's got to find this angle to thread. It's like, yeah, we're using the dragon because dragons are useful in war, but don't make friends with it. Don't become one of them. And they've even given us the symbolism of, he's got the red hair and not the silver hair. So this is very interesting. We've all been kind of waiting for this. Like, what is the high tower angle on being Targaryen, the whole Targ Tower thing? And both Ormond and was it Allison talking about, yes, raising, I gave Viserys 3 Targaryen sons. I wanted one of them to be a High Tower. So they're using these names to delineate the culture of the child, essentially.
Yeah. I love
For
that.
sure.
And it just shows that like Alicent, no matter where you put your kids, whether they're raised Targaryen or raised Hightower, they still turn out horrible or not. Darren's not even horrible, but so it doesn't matter. Like, this is the world of men. Like,
Yeah. Well, and with what you were saying, it's like maybe not horrible, but repressed. Clearly, this is like he's repressing like half of himself. The fact that Ormond has to say like, mercy, that sounds like something your father would say. How dare you? Like, no, chop this guy's head off. Like, we're not having any of that here. None of that Targ softness. I think he said that they have like low cunning, but what was it? He said the Targaryens have low cunning, but is it like good luck or something?
Steeped
like,
in magic or sorcery or something.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It was coming fast and furious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Daron seems sad. That seems like a sad boy that kind of just wants to be with his dragon.
Yeah, he's like, if there's anybody out there that was like raised in a bicultural home or a home with 2 religions, like of the 2 different parents, you could probably relate to this. Yeah.
yeah. And I think like the most telling thing about Daron's personality is how when that messenger came in and then Ormond was rolling up the paper and he goes, "Get out now." Like, that told me everything I needed to know. Number one, he's a good squire because he can tell his master's moods by just the hint of something, right? But number two,
Yeah, Ormond's
he's
about to
kind.
have a tantrum. Everybody leave.
Yeah. So he studied this man and he had great empathy, right? And then also like he's kind, like trying to send this man away before who knows what would have happened to him. And then the actor, like, you felt like the urgency, the fear, like in his 2 words, "Get out." Like, you felt that, okay, something's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
it's interesting because it's a high testament to Daron's character that he has been able to retain that empathy and that kindness, being raised with Ormond as almost like a pseudo father figure. Because we see in other characters, like for example Joffrey, a character who is kind of raised around a lot of violence and anger and kind of cruelty. He then kind of mirrors that and becomes very cruel, but clearly Daron is not doing that. He's retaining some level of kindness and empathy. So I think that's a very interesting choice.
Yeah, I just to go back to James Norton's portrayal, like, has an absolute freak out, just a complete hissy fit, and then he's like, "Okay, got that out." Roxton puts his chair up, like, "Here you go, sir." He's like, "All right," and then he just starts speaking in a calm voice, which is kind of like, again, it kind of does remind you of a tech CEO, where it's like the slightly unhinged behavior, but the ability to compose yourself. It's very unnerving. And it's also sort of using anger to intimidate people without directing it right at them. Kind of like when a husband throws a dish against the wall, you know what I mean? It's got that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because he does throw a cup and then he starts chopping stuff with a sword. I'm like, I don't want to be in the way when he's swinging that, when he's, I mean, if that, cupbearer or servant or whoever it was there, that could have been really bad. And I'm sure it has been in the past, which is why Daron was like, "You gotta go. You gotta get out of here now."
I know what's about to happen.
So
yeah,
what do you... Quick question. Maybe it's not quick. What do you think is his like weakness, like as far as that, like the way Alicent told Rhaenyra, "Oh, the smelling thing," like it seems like this big thing. It's like a peanut butter allergy that could be used against him. What do you guys think is like the extent of that knowledge? Like, do you think it's like a thing with him, or is it just...
Oh, I think they're setting it up to go somewhere. Like, they've given him this character quirk. I'm not sure where it is. Like, he's not going to like Flea Bottom very much, but apart from that, I'm not sure how they're going to use that against him.
In like, I want to say like season 3 of Game of Thrones, Sansa talks to Tyrion about sheep shifting someone's sheets. Right. Maybe someone just needs to do that to Ormond and he'll just crumble. He'll just, he won't figure out where the smell's coming from and he'll go crazy.
Good idea.
Yeah, maybe we'll see some servant in Tumbleton turning against him at some point and making the stinky in his bed or something. Yeah, that would be funny. Since we're talking about Tumbleton, let's go ahead. And You know what? Let me grab a couple of these super chats that came in at the beginning. Then we'll talk about Tumbleton.
Cool.
A bunch of them came in, so let's just get those.
Oh,
I appreciate y'all. We will occasionally let them go and then catch up to them so we can do our thing. But Team Rhaenyra for life, but the Sunfire and Aegon and Tessarion Daeron scenes were so sweet. We will do Dragon of the Week. We'll vote on that this week for sure. Aegon and Daeron seem to have the deepest love for their dragons. Yeah, they did show us some of that. I also liked Rhaena's new hairstyle. Ray Nettles. Should we call her Ray Nettles?
Don't try me.
I know I knew you were gonna like that, but
Don't put
they
Nettles
are
in
merging. They're doing it anyway. She's gonna be the Fire Witch, like full on. Happy 15 years since the. Yeah, it was a while ago, but thank you, Wee-san. Ormond is a real POS. My heart broke for Daeron. We needed a new villain around here. And we're going to, there's going to be deaths this season. We needed a new villain. They've done well with Ormond. Like you said, Nettles, if they're going to change it from the books, like make it interesting, I think they're doing well with the character. They're playing to the actor's strength. This is all working for me. Forgot it was Sunday. I'll have to listen. Okay, yep, we'll be here. The episode almost felt Shakespearean. Between the dialogue, the burnt head, and Ormond, it feels almost classic. There was a lot of ominous foreboding and building up of tension. There was a lot of good dialogue. I totally get that take. Who is happy we waited 3 seasons for them to ruin Daeron in 1 episode, further showing the show is pro Team Black, Team Green are just villains, apparently. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you look at the last super chat up here, they say, you could sort of see that Aegon and Daeron are the ones who have this emotional connection to their dragon. So maybe if you stop hating for just a second, you'll see that actually there's some good stuff on both sides here. But you're welcome to your take, and thank you for the super chat. Oily Blackstone equals petrified shade of the evening. Shout out Crowfood's daughter. Somebody's wandered in here from the Old Town video. Ormond the crash out and Maelor lives are highlights. Yeah, she's pregnant. That's what was going on. I had to rewatch the scene. I was like, wait, those women just did a woman communication thing. What happened? I did not catch it. And then I went back and was like, yes, she's wanted to touch her belly. Helena's definitely pregnant, right?
Yeah, they confirmed it on the kind of inside the episode. So
great.
Okay.
Yeah. And Alicent said that her fear is that with that being a possible claimant, that Rhaenyra will either have Helena drink moon tea or deliver the child and then dispose of it. And so it's setting up a dilemma of hiding her pregnancy.
It's shades of Jane Westerling and her grandmother and the Lannisters and all that stuff, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Thank you for checking out the end of the episode. I watched the preview, but not the inside the episode. Daeron is perfectly captured. They portrayed how good, brave, and smart he is with little dialogue. It's all in his facial features. I don't mind the auburn hair. Still feels like Daeron. Yeah, I like I said, you instantly start feeling for the kid being caught in between these two very strong cultural forces in Westeros that are different and that kind of hate each other to some extent. And we also saw that with Rhaenyra asking about the High Septon. Go ahead, Estella.
I was going to say, and I'm still not fully convinced he could have silver hair. I mean, Ormond is such a freak. Maybe he's making him dye it because he's like, you have to be a Hightower, no silver-haired children. Because he dyes fake Daeron's hair. So to me, that's like an assumption of people would recognize Daeron with silver hair. They know he's a silver-haired child.
No, I like that idea. That would be sinister if he did. What do you think, Nettles?
I agree.
That's what it looks like. Well, they nailed the shade. It looks like, Olivia Cook's red hair or whatever. I don't know I guess she's wearing a wig too, so I shouldn't say that. But it matches Alicent's hair. So Helena is confirmed pregnant. Who do we think the father is? Can't be Aegon due to burns and the timing. No. I mean, the time is being compressed. I think. Go ahead.
The other brother. They're right. That comment's right.
You think
it can't be Aegon.
Yeah, it takes like a few months to show a pregnancy. Like Aegon was definitely there like less than a couple months ago. That we've only really gone a few weeks, I think.
Few weeks since.
I mean, in real time, they're not giving us much to go on, but
yeah.
I don't think Aegon and Larys have been gone that. I mean, how long has it been since Rook's Rest is the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the other brothers, I'll still go with the other brother.
They didn't give us any sort of hint of a Helena Aemond romantic event or assault or
I'm not
anything.
saying it was romantic.
I would
I
hope
just think they
not. I
would have
mean,
set that up a little bit.
We'll see.
I know people are going to wonder about it.
yeah, I think it's left up in the air to wonder. I wonder if they will address it, maybe. Because it is just, they just barely touch on it here that she's even pregnant at all. So I wonder if maybe her and Allison will have more secret discussion of like, when did this happen? How did this happen? What do we do about this? How far along are you? How long can we hide this?
No, this would have
So,
had to have been before Rook's Rest. We know Aegon was gelded in dragon flame, as it were, so it would have had to have been before that. I just don't know how much time is supposed to have elapsed since then. So they'll probably, if it's, let's put it this way, if we're supposed to understand that it might be Aemon's, then they will give us hints about that in coming weeks, and we'll be
Yeah.
able to talk about it. So
for sure.
yeah, I feel like the time is really compressed and it hasn't been that long, really. But if anybody knows, if they've said, then we'll see. But yeah, people were picking up on that they were trying to show Helena, like maybe they were padding her clothes a little bit the last couple weeks to show that maybe she's pregnant. And so I don't know if they did do that, but that does turn out to be the direction that we went.
Okay.
Let's talk about Aegon real quick. We could definitely come back to Helena and stuff because there was several scenes with Helena and Allison and Rhaenyra. But there's really setting up Aegon with some quasi like prophetic Dragon Lord of Destiny stuff. First, he talks about the dragon dragon looks very dead. It hasn't moved. If it's alive, it's in like a deep coma. Okay, it's in a dragon coma. But he thinks it should be alive, and obviously in the books it is alive. So maybe he's going to resurrect his dragon. And then also Laris is like, oh, but you've been presumed dead. If you appear, you'll be coming back from the dead, and you'll be a legend, and you'll have all this street cred and all that. So they're kind of giving Aegon a little bit of this quasi Azor High, destiny shades of it to sort of parallel Rhaenyra. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I wanted to add too, it's interesting because then we obviously see Melee's dead big dragon body, and that looks very rotten and different from Sunfire. And so I think it kind of begs the question is Sunfire in some type of weird preservative like hibernation? Is this adding to dragon lore of like what dragons can do? Because there were bugs, but in the way that like cows have flies around them, like it just looked almost like he was like preserved and sleeping. And with where the story needs to go and with how they are having Aegon in just the lowest of the lows, he's got to come up at some point. And so I think it would make sense if Sunfire is alive. I think I just would like that because we've seen so many dead dragons and I'm getting kind of sad. So
it seems like they're doing the book arc, but just adding a little wrinkle, a little extra drama to it. And like I said, it will create this perception that Aegon's connection to the dragon helped the dragon wake up, which they definitely are playing with in Fire and Blood. They're talking about why did Sunfire fly to Dragonstone? Maybe it was Aegon's need. They recover together in a cave on the far side of Dragonstone and they fly every morning and stuff. So they're definitely like the connection between Aegon and Sunfire is talked about in Fire and Blood. And we are getting shades of like Dany's connection with Drogon, where Drogon flies to her at her hour of greatest need. So I think that's pretty interesting. And it also shows that like you don't have to be a good person to have, hashtag Daemon Targaryen. Sorry, Nettles. But he did murder his wife. We didn't cover that last week. He did that too. You don't have to be a good person, quote unquote, to have a mind meld with a dragon. And Aegon does have a strong connection with this dragon. And it's basically the only time we really feel sorry for him is when we see him, oh, my boy. What do you say? Like, my boy. He called the dragon my boy. Like,
Very, very
No.
Harry Potter. My boy, my son.
Don't. No, I definitely think Sunfire's coming back because of that scene. Like they wouldn't have wasted screen time to show us that if he was going to stay dead.
I think so.
But it'd be cool if that dragon turned to stone, and then like a dragon was born of stone. Like how like a caterpillar cocoons. Like what if part of dragon lore is like they can crustify so that they're not vulnerable while they ember up inside with a flame and then waking a dragon from stone.
The
But
xenomorphs
I
can
know
do
they won't.
that. They in the most recent Aliens movies, they say, "Oh, if the xenomorph is in deep space, it'll cocoon up." And so yeah, maybe they're doing something like that. I think
I
even
like
just
that.
being in a coma, it's like he's it'll still be waking from stone. I mean, the dragons are kind of like stone anyways, and if it's not moving, then it's effectively a big rock. So the people are saying the bodies look different. Melis versus Sunfire. Dead Dragon of the Week award. Now let's do vote on. So we had all the dragons. We had Tessarion eating. We didn't get to see the crunch crunch, but we heard the crunch crunch of the poor unfortunate man who did nothing. We saw Vermithor do like a low flyover of Tumbleton. We saw Caraxes sniffing out Sheep Stealer, which makes me wonder if Sheep Stealer is supposed to be female, because we know Caraxes is a ladies' man and, kind of disobeying Damon a little bit there. Or maybe Damon wasn't listening to his dragon, but Caraxes smelled Sheep Stealer, definitely. And,
I thought you were just going to say
let's.
stinky. Just
Damn.
sheep
True.
killer, just a stinky dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly so.
Estella, you're so classist. How could you?
So
It's
we
an
got
unhoused dragon, not a homeless
no.
dragon.
so let's
Oh,
see.
no.
Let's go with Caraxes, Sheep Stealer, Tessarion, and I guess Sunfire. The Vermithor flyby was very quick. Vermithor will have his moments. But yeah, Maynard Plum, let's do that. Let's go to Tessarion, Caraxes, Sheep Stealer, and Sunfire for Dragon of the Week. Definitely got some good dragon action. Let's talk about that Nettles Damon scene. I thought that was really cool. I keep calling her Nettles, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm mad. I'm mad about it.
Go take the mic. I'll be quiet.
No, it was great. I second you. I definitely like her hair better. Like, so when we, like, Estelle, I'm sure you're the same way. When I think of the outfit, like, I put it together before I see the episode. So I'm dressed up as book accurate Bela.
Oh, okay.
By book accurate, I mean like short hair and like tomboy goth style,
Yeah.
and a heart for being kinky.
Love it.
But I should have dressed up as Reina. Like, oh my gosh, because like I finally liked her. This is the episode where I finally liked her, and I kind of like where it's going. She's no Nettles. This is not. Listen, it's not Nettles.
She's cosplaying Nettles. Reina is cosplaying Nettles.
Basically.
But it was great. We got to see a different side of Damon. And this is why people were mad about Nettles being cut, is because in the books, the whole characterization of Nettles allows us to see the softer side of Damon. And we've seen this start right here. Like he's a totally different person. He was like genuinely scared for him. He's like Rhaenyra thinks that you did this and this. He's like talking in his teeth, like, come on, like I'm trying to save her. Like, so not to my knowledge, like we've never seen him like that. We've seen him ruthless. We've seen him like in brothels, but like this, he's not even this tender with Rhaenyra. So I'm hopeful that this can go in like a great direction and make up for not having Nettles.
It really is starting to get interesting. Go ahead, Estella. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts.
I was going to say, yeah, and I think some of the things that Raina said to him probably hit home. And he was probably like, you know what, you are right. And so I wouldn't be surprised if in the kind of arc we see with them, obviously it'll be different from the Nettles arc in the book, but I think we could see him really trying to, in the same way that Corlys is, try to make up for lost time of like, okay, you're right, I will do what I can now to shield and protect you because you are my child.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. We did see a different sign of Daemon, and it reminded me a lot of like a teenager that gets caught by their parents and they've committed some sort of minor crime, and instead of the parents cracking down on them, it's like, oh, we got to hide this from the cops. Like, what did you do with the evidence? We got to, you idiot, we've got to make sure you don't get thrown in jail. So yeah, it was that moment. Damon's freaked out, but ultimately Yeah, he protected his daughter. It was kind of endearing, Rhaena saying, I've never asked anything of you. You've never noticed. You never given me a second thought. She said exactly what I said in one of my previous videos, which is like a Targaryen without a dragon. You're basically nothing. You're dirt. You're something's wrong with you. And Rhaena's obviously been feeling that, as do other young Targaryens who struggle to bond with the dragon for a while. Aemond was made fun of for not having a dragon for a while. And so, yeah, this really is believable. You're buying the motivations of both characters. So given the fact that we're all like still not happy that Nettles isn't in the show, like they've done about as well as they could have with this potential plot line. I think it's getting sort of better as it goes.
Yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. But it does kind of flesh out some things, like, because, in the books, it's like two options. It's like either Daemon and Nettles is like a romantic thing, which is what I choose to believe, or
Same.
it's like a father-daughter relationship. And so we're kind of seeing it played out like, okay, what if we're going the father-daughter route? So I think that's a choice, but it, again, makes Daemon like nice or like good, because like we've seen in the show that like a lot of times in the books, things that they expressly said that Daemon did that made him bad, in the show they're leaving it ambiguous or like taking it away, going back to something like air for a day. Like we know he said in the books, but in the show we still have no proof that he actually said it. Like every time Daemon has a chance to do something truly bad, even like you brought up murdering his first wife, it's still left ambiguous. Like, well, it was an accident. Like she fell off a horse and she was going to be
Is the horse?
paralyzed.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as I said it. Yeah, you're right.
Instead of like it being like, no, I'm murdering you so I can get to my next wife. Like it. So, dang, I lost my. So here's how I got it back. So having Daemon fall in love and like Nettles and Daemon being like a love thing, it would mean he cheats on Rhaenyra and like all this stuff. So again, instead of having him have his heart in conflict in that way or be bad, they've chosen to make him, but no, this is the good option. It's the father-daughter endearing one. So it's like, okay, like I'm still waiting for Daemon to be as bad as he is in the books, but still a great choice.
Well, I think to your point, this is a more interesting character growth for Daemon. Seeing him cheat again is just like, okay, back to his old, routine or whatever. It's kind of interesting when it's Nettles, because it's like, oh, Daemon is attracted to this completely wild dragon rider who did it a different way. Maybe a throwback to the original Valyrians using sheep to tame the dragons and all this. But with Rhaena here, like this gives Daemon some growth. But he's still Daemon. Like he lied to Rhaenyra. Okay, he did a bad thing, but it's for love of his child. And I think that's pretty compelling. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah, and with this too, I wouldn't be surprised if, obviously once this new sheep stealer rider is revealed and floating around, if the rumors do still persist that, oh, it's Daemon's new lover, because obviously they're trying to hide who Rhaena is, and if those rumors get to Rhaenyra, ultimately like through Mysaria, if that makes her a bit paranoid. And so with that, we're getting a little bit of both, but also it's like obviously one is more true. But with that too, I think in the same way that, Adam is really tested in like, are you loyal, are you faithful? We see the kind of not quite inverse with Daemon, but it's the same challenge of like, are you faithful? And ultimately, we know that Daemon is going to be faithful to Nettles, to Rhaena, but, his reputation in that is seemingly probably going to be a bit tarnished.
Yeah, and of course he still did it in a Daemon way. Like he killed the innocent goat herd, just like when they, arranged for Laenor's escape. They still killed somebody to act as
Not
the body.
clean.
It's just a red shirt. And this kind of builds up the idea that these are elitists. They don't care if some goat herd or some innocent person. It's in contrast to Dany, who's torn up about Hosea, or any innocent life. So yeah, these are different characters here. And that's why I said it's interesting. It gives Daemon some growth, but it doesn't change who he is, So yeah, I do think it's more interesting than him just cheating again. So yeah, let's. So the chat is talking about Baela whether or not Bela recognized that it was her sister. So there's two things. One, there was confusion because I said it wrong after the episode. It's Raina that recognizes Bela and says, "That's my sister." And I said it wrong after the episode. However, I do think it's possible that Bela may have recognized her. They just didn't give us that obvious moment to show us definitely the case. We have seen Rhaenyra yelling at Bela in a pre-season preview that hasn't happened yet. So it's possible that Bela will get mixed up in this. Or it could just be that Rhaenyra finds out from Mysaria and then interrogates Bela like, you didn't know, or something like that, you know?
For sure.
So let's go back to the fan funding real quick here. I like staying up on these. There was a couple good ones. No, his burns healed. Remember, he probably hasn't slept with her since then. Okay, this is talking about whether or not Helena's pregnancy is from Aegon. We'll just have to see, but I think it's definitely possible that it's Aegon's because we don't know the exact timeline. If not much time has passed, then Sunfire might not be gone. I think they're clearly doing something here. Was the CGI notably worse this episode to y'all, or am I being cynical? Aemond riding towards Rhaenyra, and even the flies around the bucket of Aegon's poop looked terrible. Complaining about the poop flies. I was writing a lot of notes as I was watching, so I didn't notice anything like that. But Rhaena is now Nettles. Oh, like not Nettles.
Is now
Nettles is kind of funny.
I was saying Ray Nettles, but Nettles is kind of better. Well done. I believe George told Condal they had a father-daughter relationship, and this is Book, Daemon, and Nettles, and Condal chose to go all in. That could be. George has said that he doesn't necessarily have one chosen truth. When he throws out these 3 and 4 rumors, he's not necessarily got one right answer. He's just acting like a fake historian and giving us different plausible answers and just going, hey, who knows, you know? But it could
planting seeds.
Sorry, what was that?
Planting seeds.
Yes. And certainly Ryan often has chosen one of the rumors and then used that for his plot thread. So that's kind of what's going on here. Sunfire being dead, how do we get to that part? Well, like we were saying, probably, I'm not quite dead. It seems to be one of those things shaping up. So let's go back to Tumbleton. I missed a super chat. No! Say it ain't so. Lady Lils, say it ain't so. I know you sent one in earlier. Oh, right here. Right? Unhearted. The writers and Tom have really adapted Aegon into this complex, almost sympathetic character. He's being humbled. Yeah, almost sympathetic. Not quite, but very interesting. I'll say that. He's being humbled, almost religious in a way, like the trials of Jesus Christ. Okay, I can see that. Just with a more flawed and sometimes cruel man, Tom is A+. So Tom Glencarney is incredible. He is, he's trying to learn humility, but he can't stop himself from being like, arrest this man, tear out his tongue. Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm not.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's trying to learn humility, but it's not going super well. He did kiss the guy's foot, and they cut the scene with that. So they're showing us that he's having his stiff back, bowed a bit. Oh, the cats! Yes, we've got an order for cats in the Red Keep. Discuss.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I'm so excited. So good.
And a change from the books that works. I like that they gave it to Alan. Mm-hmm. Otto doesn't need that.
It does. It makes sense because it's like, oh, on the ship we use cats. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I like it. We're getting our million bajillion cats. I could not be happier. So.
The chat's going really fast now. Everyone's excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's declare Caraxes the winner of the poll. Oh, barely. Tessarion 37, Caraxes 40. I guess if you haven't voted, you can get in here. Caraxes sniffing out Sheep Stealer when Daemon was like, let's go. Come on, let's go. And Caraxes is like, nah, you should check out what's in this cave. It was a good moment. Yeah.
It was. And Caraxes flying is just always so funny. Just like so wobbly, just like noodle neck. I didn't even realize too, this is my first time really seeing that he's got like a little tooth gap. I was like, this is just the funniest dragon. Mm-hmm. Like just always a pleasure to see the dragons up close.
And then he's curiously poking his nose into the cave as Daemon's walking in there. Like, yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
He seemed to almost talk to Damon, like when he landed and he was like, "See, go in there. No, go in the cave." Like,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a believable way to continue to show us that the Dragon Rider partnership is a partnership. Dragon is not a slave. Caraxes isn't just going to disobey Daemon for no reason, but he's basically saying, "No, look over here. Like you're missing something. Trust me. You're going to want to see this." And he was right.
yep.
So yeah, it's basically Daemon needs to listen to the dragon, more quickly. He should have known. Should have trusted Caraxes, but. Loved
And I
that
liked
scene,
how-
honestly. It was pretty metal. Two dragon lords meeting on a cliffside. Everyone, Lakiri, call everyone to chill. Let's not have a dragon fight. Like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And I love how Damon was like, no, like, chill to Caraxes. And then when Sheepstealer flew out, I'm like, what do we think Caraxes screamed at Sheepstealer? Like, it felt very much like he was like, hey, watch it. Like, it very much was like, okay, don't be my friend. Like, he was just very much like, fine, get out of here then,
I think this was the most Caraxes vocabulary that we've heard, too. He was whistling and chirping up a storm for like a couple of minutes solid.
No, Caraxes is definitely writing in that burn book from Mean Girls. He was like, Sheep Stealer is a fugly.
Come on, you smelly ass dragon. Come on out of there.
This is the nastiest, stinkiest dragon that didn't want to be my friend. Yeah.
Look at this lair. It's covered with refuse and bones. Yeah. So we
It's
will
great.
declare Caraxes the winner.
Yay!
But lots of good dragon action this week. Very cool. Nettles, have you been watching Sean's videos?
No, who's Sean? Here with a
Yeah,
thousand
that
voices.
guy. Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Never
Some
heard
guy
of
in
him.
the chat. I've almost banned him like 5 times.
Yeah.
Caraxes and Sheepstealer don't have normal snouts. Caraxes has his weird nose, which, yeah, they're both a little... They're unique. They're unique and beautiful. Sunfire can't be dead. He and Aegon are too important. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Barris Aurelius. They're just... Sometimes they like to play with us book fans by giving us little fake outs. Like when Jace and Vermax almost got killed at the beginning by a grapnel, and then they escaped, and now we're all wondering, oh, they're going to do something different, and then they circled back to do the book death anyway. So yeah, they play with us a little bit, create some suspense, which is nice. We appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
They ruined the High Towers. I don't know. I thought the High Tower was... I thought it was cool as hell, all the Ormond stuff. I think this is believable. Like, we mostly talked about this, but like when you're dealing with these Dragon Lord rulers, these warlord Targaryens, like there would be a lot of fear and there would be a lot of religious like questioning of the whole, like these are abominations, the incest, and they're like closer to their lizards than people, and they roast whole fields of soldiers, and they use like glass candles and things. And so yeah, I think that a place like Old Town, which is steeped in religion, and Ormond really does feel like one of those fake religious people where they're only using the religious language to sort of turn their nose up at people and declare other people unfit and things like that. Like it's all felt really believable to me. I loved it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Define
Daron-
ruined. What do
Yeah, I
I
thought-
mean by ruined?
I thought Daron seemed so kind, and I was like, this is like the kindest Hightower child we've seen. I was like, he has empathy, he's kind, he's sweet to his dragon, he's trying to protect servants. I was like, I don't see how that's ruining him. I was like, he's like maybe the most likable child after Helena,
yeah, and if you're gonna oppose the Targaryens and you need to be cunning, you need to be tough. Not that we condone Ormond's actions or whatever, but softies don't get to lead their houses in the Game of Thrones and succeed very well. We know that too. This is a warlord game. And we did get reference to the Game of Thrones. Was it Mysaria? No, it was Cole. Kristen Cole talking to Gwaine, saying, oh, you High Lords think this is all a game. You're going to run home to your castle and this and that. Be like, no, I'm a foot soldier, I'll have you know. And and yeah, he's basically saying we got to do our duty and get out there and die. If we have to die, we have to die. We're soldiers. And he's sort of taunting Gwaine with this. Like, you're a soldier, buddy. We might just have to go out there and die in order to save somebody like a week. so they can take King's Landing. That's what we have to do. Honestly, I think he's just trying to avoid the dragons. But
yeah, for sure.
And they are switching. It looks like they're setting up for a little bit of a switched plot line. So in the books, Kristen Cole's army marching south from Harrenhal is beset by the Riverlanders. And it's the remnants of these Riverlanders who are burning and sniping and doing all this skullduggery and terrorism type stuff, guerrilla warfare, let's call it. And now they're going to switch it around. They have accelerated the coming together of the Black forces. So then now they have the bigger army that they'll eventually have at Butcher's Ball. They have it already. And so Kristen's army is small, and they're going to try to nip at the flanks and delay the Team Black army from getting down to Tumbleton, which now makes sense. So like they've rejiggered things a little bit, but mostly they're taking like the book ideas and just moving them around a bit. So like the Greens are holding Tumbleton instead of the Blacks, but it kind of makes sense given what they've done with the plot. So yeah, it does look like Butcher's Ball is coming next week, as well as some part of Tumbleton. I watched the previews and they're showing basically what looks like both of those fights. So it might be a total just carnage bloodbath next week.
Oh, wow. Because I really thought Tumbleton was going to be more of the finale, but I guess
Me too.
not. Okay.
Could be that there'll be parts of it, maybe. Because they've changed it already. And in the books, there's 2 Tumbletons, and there's some chaos in between, and there's a lot of sacking. And so they could be drawing it out potentially. Yeah. Because I thought Tumbleton would be the finale, like the second to last episode, but maybe not.
Yeah.
So thinking about Tumbleton brings me back again to Orman. Like, I'm gonna have to make him like my new baby daddy. But my question is,
that makes sense for you, Nettles.
listen, a Nettles is gonna Nettles. No, but what do you guys think was the purpose of him? Like, who was he? I guess my question is, who is he performing for when he brought out Hugh's wife's brother? Like the fake out, like pretending to be like nice and merciful and then bringing him back. Like, who was that performance for?
Daron, I would say.
Okay. I guess I just didn't. Okay.
And also his own self, maybe some of his elite guards or whatever, but mostly I think it seemed like an object lesson for Daron in that scene. Wouldn't you say so, Estella?
Yeah, and I think, it was public, and like there were kind of people outside in the streets, kind of a display to his own soldiers of like, don't run rampant here, but then also in private, I am also going to take care of things on both sides. It very much felt like, yeah, he was trying to put on a good front so that the people of Tumbleton don't turn on them, is what I read it as.
Yeah. So I was saying that show was obviously for the public. Killing the guy later was an object lesson for Daron. I also think that Ormond is an elitist. Like, he clearly is. So part of him would have liked to strike that guy's head off then and there, but he didn't. And so he was like, oh, let's play the good, good steward or whatever. I'll, hang the rapers and gild the rapers. And then it's like, oh yeah, no, we're also elitists. And you laid a hand on the Blood Royal, shades of Dunk and Arion.
For sure.
Not the Blood Royal, but, House Hightower.
No, yeah.
Enough, so.
Yeah. Well, because he said, he's like, yeah, he laid a hand on one of our soldiers, and then that, by extension, is you. And they're clearly going to be proposing Daron up as this royal option. So, yeah, by extension, the Blood Royal, basically.
Yeah.
Just to go back to Caraxes real quick, I loved loading up the sacks of gold on Caraxes' like... This is like the most armed and deadly Brinks truck that's ever been created here.
Definitely.
Possible Caraxes sense smelled Reyna. No, I would Caraxes is smelling sheep stealer. I don't think it'd be Reyna. I'm sure Reyna doesn't smell great. But the odor coming out of that dragon cave is probably wafting a good ways, I'm guessing. Ormond would hate it.
Oh, he would hate it. You're so right. I wanted to call out too, we've had a lot of kind of humor and levity this season, and I feel like in this episode we did get a little bit of that, but it was a little bit darker. Obviously we had that moment of Ormond basically calling out the Lord Baratheon is illiterate again. He was like, send him a letter with pictures this time.
Send him some drawings, some stick figure drawings, maybe he'll get that.
Yeah, and then we had that moment too where they're with Sunfire and they're like, it's a coin to touch the dragon, and he's got two hands on him. Give me two coins. Is humorous, but a little bit darker in the humor this time around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that guy clearly was thinking about just straight up robbing and murdering Lars and Aegon, which they've sort of shown us every week. They are facing death. They're obviously they do have plot armor, but they're doing a good job of showing us, like, you can't just traipse across the countryside in the middle of a war. Like, you might get killed at any minute based on the whims of some random ruffian or Tom Tangletongue. Welcome to the show, Tom Tangletongue. This is a canon character. And what did they call Aegon?
The main face or burnt.
I have it written down.
It was like maimed face, burnt face, something like that.
Pizza face. I don't know.
I was gonna say too.
Mangle face.
Mangle face.
Mangle face. Yeah. I was gonna say too. Rhaenyra's talk of Ulf's belly was also like not funny, but kind of funny in the way that he's like, "Well, it's my belly," and she was like, "No,
it's the royal belly.
It's the crown's belly." Yeah.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, there definitely was some good humor there. Mangleface was cool. I like that because they're just riffing on Tangletongue. So successful expansion of book lore. Lore accepted. The book nerds have approved. How will Rhaenyra use Ormond smelting to her advantage? Well, like I said, they could just drop him off at Sheep Stealer's lair until he capitulates. It smells really bad. No, I don't know. We'll see. Do we think Daemon is going to rename his daughter Nettles? Anything's possible. Like, I prefer they not use the name Nettles. No. Like, it's enough to use the vibes. But nothing is sacred.
We'll see.
Nothing is sacred.
How much more do we think Alicent will aid Rhaenyra in telling her these little details to her when she goes to meet her? Well, what's fun is that Mackenzie, we don't even know how much of this stuff is meant to really help her or what she's leaving out. It's very ambiguous what Alicent's real, like, maybe she's trying to help Rhaenyra because she just wants the kingdom to be run more stably because that's what it needs. Or maybe she's protecting her family. It's hard to say just yet. Ormond is a learned man. Yep, he reads. He's a scholar. We were told that. He's into dabbing. We saw that. Obsessed with bloodlines and purity. Could there be Great Empire of the Dawn theory? Look, I will be the first to be excited when Great Empire of the Dawn theory is represented on the TV show. I'm probably not going to jump the gun on that. Maybe. Like, we book readers could fill in that lore if we want to. But really, he's just leading on this sort of sham belief in the Seven and purity and the Targaryens are abominations and we don't do that sort of thing and, that kind of stuff, it seems like. But sure. Just dropping in with my support. Thank you. Appreciate that. Where will the season end, do you think? Well, I thought it was going to end with... Oh, we can't talk about that. That's all book spoilers. At the end. We'll try to come back to that at the end. Apologies for spelling your name wrong, Estella. We've got it right now. The main thing is that you go subscribe to her channel, Estella Graves. Click on the hyperlink in the description below. Same for Girl Nettles. Girl Nettles, yeah. And the links, the name, just click on their names in the description. The show, and by the way, welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. A few of my videos have been getting a little wider circulation recently, a lot of new subscribers. We love y'all. Thank y'all. This is the lore channel of your dreams. You have found it. Be welcome. The show has done a great job showing the flaws in men and women, gods, dragons, kings, and peasants, and also giving us little interesting or redeeming qualities of people that are mostly bad as well. So that we're doing the whole range of great characters. I agree. They aren't trying to blame one class or gender, just showing us the flaws of corrupt seeking power. I think I mostly agree with that. There was a little gender essentialism in the first couple of seasons where all the women are against violence. To some extent, men in this setting are going to be more prone to use violence than diplomacy. But I do think they're mixing it up a bit in season 3. What do y'all think?
For sure. And I think, it's interesting because I feel like we're kind of seeing Rhaenyra teeter on that line. You know, Emma Darcy has talked about Rhaenyra in this kind of growing, almost religious fanaticism of like their role and what they need to do. But we did see in the last episode when Daemon brought up we should be gods, you could see Rhaenyra pulled back a little bit and was like, oh wait, no, not yet. My father, Targaryens are closer to gods than men. No, we're not doing that. And so I think, you know, Rhaenyra is not quite there yet, but when she said in this episode to Alicent, I would have spared Daeron, and Alicent looks at her like, would you have? It makes me wonder if she's just saying that to make herself feel better, or if Rhaenyra really would have.
Sounds like Rhaenyra's trying to convince herself, because we saw her toying with the decision. Daemon's like, you have to kill him. She didn't really say yes or no, but then she stood over the bed, kind of clearly considering, who is this person? Am I going to kill this person? Do I have to? You know, so yeah, I think Rhaenyra's talking to herself a little bit. And I think Alicent probably hears that.
Yeah, I think she wouldn't have, because if she was going to, the minute Daemon said, you know, it's politically advantageous for us to off him, she would have been like, okay, do it, or something, like, you know, she would have had it done, and she didn't. And I think that her not doing it immediately meant she didn't want to do it at all. But
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say that, like, I just kind of want to address some of the comments. People have been saying that I'm glazing Rhaenyra and Daemon. And I just want to let it be known that, like, I've read the books. Like, that's why I call myself Nettles. Like, this is my favorite story in all of A Song of Ice and Fire. So I understand. Like, there's Rhaenyra in the books, but the Rhaenyra in the show is not the Rhaenyra in the books. So I'm not treating her like that. Like, I'm sorry. In the show, they had us have like the White Hart appear to Rhaenyra. Like, they're clear. Like, Rhaenyra is clearly supposed to be read as good, that she can do no wrong, and that's why I always tongue in cheek say that. Like people are saying, oh, I never want to point out her flaws, but it's because I will accept the slop that I am given. If they're giving me Disney Rhaenyra, I'm going to take her as such, and I'm going to hold her to that standard. And when she makes questionable decisions, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. And so I just want to say, like, that's where that comes from. It's not me glazing the character or not being knowledgeable. It's me, like, seeing the clues that the show is giving us, telling us who Rhaenyra is, and just going by that standard. Now, as for Daemon, yes, I'm glazing. That's my baby daddy. But I'm taking the Rhaenyra that they're giving us, and that's what I'm treating her as. So no, she wasn't going to kill Darren. But I will say that I don't, if you guys finally want to say something I don't agree with of one of her actions, is how she dealt with Ulf. And, like, yeah.
Estella, your thoughts? I think I mostly agree with all of that, Nettles. But yeah, your thoughts, Estella?
Yeah, I agree that I think that they are painting her as, like, good and divine, her seeing the White Hart, all of these portents. But again, with, like, what Emma Darcy has said about, like, Rhaenyra being on the cusp of this, like, religious fanaticism, like this belief in herself, I think there is, like, a little bit of a hint at, like, she could go dark, but she's kind of fighting against that because it's not the queen she wants to be. And I think this season we'll see her challenged a lot, as we're seeing, of, you know, Daemon being like, you got to go kill Daeron, and she's like, I don't want to do this. You got to chop Otto's head off. And she's like, I really don't want to do this, you know? And so I think we're going to continue to see throughout the season her having those really tough moments. I agree with the Ulf thing. I think, honestly, and when Ulf told her, you know, hey, they're kind of talking bad about you in the street, I think that would have been a really good opportunity to say, well, hey, you know people at taverns, why don't you go sing my praises with a guard or an escort or something? But instead, she just kind of let him go, you know?
Yeah, she's showing a little bit of a lack of political acumen there. There was an opportunity. She basically says, don't go to the taverns. And when she hears, and then she responds to the graffiti by saying, go scrub it off and have the perpetrators arrested, which she should know is going to mean the other scene that we saw. Gold cloaks tearing into people's houses and roughing people up and grabbing some innocent people and macing them in the face. You know, and so, yeah, she... On one hand, she's like, oh, we're going to spend our money on alms for the poor because that's probably the most pressing need. And I think I agree with her there. Mm-hmm. But then she also makes that misjudgment. So you understand why she is sympathizing with her father in this episode. She's honestly a lot like her father. She wants to be the dragon ruler, but she doesn't want to hurt anybody or do anything bad. And that's just not the job description, really. As much as I advocate for moral leadership in this story, like over and over, and praise Danny and John for their morality, you can see the position that Rhaenyra and Viserys are caught in. And she is emulating her father at this point in her arc quite a bit. So I thought that was interesting. Mm-hmm. And also the relatability of taking on a job and then going, wow, this is a little harder than it looked from the outside. Now I understand what those older people were going through, the people that went before me, what they were dealing with and why they were complaining and losing their hair and rotting on the throne or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we're seeing too, there's a lot of just situations where there is no right answer. Like, there's certain times where I'm like, I don't know how else she could have handled it. Like in the last episode with Hugh, when she says, her kind of PR statement of, oh, I'm awash with dilemmas. She does offer him a house on Visenya's Hill. Like, I'm like, I don't really know what else she could have done except, sending herself, for a carriage to go to Tumbleton. But in a lot of these moments, I'm like, I think she's kind of stretched really thin and doing all she can, but seemingly in certain instances, it's not going to be enough and you can't please everyone.
I like what you said about no right answer.
We got a Tony the Teflon has entered the chat. Tony the Teflon. Teflon TV, Tony Teflon. Yeah, the only Nettles we need is the one we have. Shout out to Tony. Who allows me to call into his hotline and pretend to be Nana Vagar a couple of times every season, which I do enjoy. Tony, I'd love to have you on one of these, so hit me up if you're available after the episode. And, of course, you can subscribe to Tony Teflon TV just by clicking on this link, I believe will get you there.
Yeah, Tony's the best.
Tony is the first person I ever streamed with, and I'll never forget the very first con I went to. Tony pulled me aside and he gave me some real talk advice. It was like, don't trust none of these people. And boy, what was that ever right? I will never forget that conversation. So yeah, a man of the world, Tony Teflon. Appreciate you. First person I ever streamed with. That is correct. It was Quinn and Gray and Tony. So that was like a decade ago. Back when Winds of Winter was only 5 years late. Time flies, Time flies. Memories. Okay. What else do we have? I know we haven't covered anywhere near everything, but let me look at my list of scenes that I made. What other polls should we do? Yeah, there's several potential nominees for the Jon Snow I Question the Wisdom of This Political Decision Award. We've got Rhaenyra, Daemon making the decision to lie about Nettles, Rhaenyra's various decisions. Ormond's political decision is he's going to try to support his nephew, Daeron. Nephew, right? Yeah, nephew. Daeron as king. So they're skipping over Aemond. Like, Aemond is alive. And basically, and Daeron has it right. He's like, would you have me turn traitor against my own house? Like, he's talking about the fact that at least supposedly Aemond is alive.
For now.
Yeah, and then we also have Corlys going off on his own little kind of solo hunt, which Rhaenyra is like, hey, it would be nice to have him here instead. But Alan is like, I think he just needs to go get his frustration out. So who knows if that's a wise decision or not.
And you guys mentioned it quickly, but the chat is all over this, like not handling the dragon seeds very well. Like Hugh shows up and she's like, yes, I'll get you your house. Do you got to bug me every day? And he's like, no, actually, I've got something important to talk about. And Ulf, who again has his finger in his own quirky way, he has his finger on the pulse of what's going on the streets. And this is an advantage that Rhaenyra, instead of exploiting, she's basically cutting off. Now, I'm not saying keeping Ulf out of the tavern isn't somewhat of a good idea, maybe on some nights, but you get what the point. So let's do the poll. Whose political decisions were the worst this week? And the choices are Daemon, Rhaenyra, Corlys, and Ormond. And you can decide what you want as far as which decision you're judging. But the thing Ormond doing, again, is kind of usurping Aemond and launching an internal Hightower coup, kind of.
Yeah. I was going to say, it cracks me up, too, that Ulf was like, I want pardons for my friends, and just Rhaenyra's face when she's putting it together of like, so you're not asking for favors for yourself, you're asking favors for some randoms that don't even have last names that I don't know who these people are.
These are the people, the 3 people Ulf owes money to, probably.
Yeah. I like that. I thought it was cute. That, like, I'm like, dang, don't make me like Ulf. Never liked him in the book. Why would I like him in the show? But this scene, I was like, this is so cute. It's selfless. He's not all bad. I can fix him.
Oh, we need to pardon this fella for some crimes, which we don't really need to go into, some minor offenses. Like, oh, yeah. How many people did he rob, you know?
Yeah.
And then also a boat ride to Lys for him, like, just sail him out of here. You know, take him basically to Westerosi Ibiza, like...
He's trying to buy somebody, a pardon and an escape to Essos. Like, that's a pretty big favor. And we know corrupt pardons are an issue with leaders of countries. I'll just say that.
Well,
that's been going back a long time. That's not just a current problem. It is getting worse these days, but most questionable political decision. Yeah, so guys, vote on this. The poll is live. If you're listening, come over to your computer or phone or TV and give us a vote.
I would have voted Ormond, honestly. I think Ormond's plan is kind of crazy.
It is a little crazy. I
think
Damon is not getting a lot of votes because we relate emotionally to his decision to protect his daughter. But it is a problem. I mean, it's a problem. This is going to be a problem. This is not just going to go away. So, yeah. And Corlys' decision, basically Corlys is just having a little bit of a tantrum. And Alan is doing a good job of smoothing it over. I did like the Alan Rhaenyra moment. They're both talking about their fathers, and that was kind of cool. I dug that. Alan did well. First day in court, walking amongst the upper crust, he did pretty well. He's like, maybe my dad just needs to kill some people. Just give him a minute,
Yeah. I would say I love to Mysaria looking at Daemon and saying, whose head is that? Who is that? Like, she already knows. You could see on her face, and he's like, oh, this is going to be a problem. Like, I can already tell.
Dave the Dragon Rider. He should have had that ready to go. That's Dave the Goat Herd. Dragon Rider.
Yep.
No, I really liked Alan and Rhaenyra's scene. I never knew that I wanted that. And I'm like, it should end with a kiss. Is it too much for me to ask for a kiss between Alan and Rhaenyra? Why not? Anything could happen.
Why not?
Book Rhaenyra does have a little more of a sexual appetite than adult show Rhaenyra. Adult show Rhaenyra is very just a faithful mother and all this kind of stuff. So yeah. She did make out with Mysaria a little bit, but
why is the House of the Dragon becoming Love Island? There's a new bachelor.
A dragon rider and a shepherd is a distinction without a difference. Thank you, Here with 1,000 Voices. Thank you.
I was to say, a new dragon rider enters the villa. It would be the...
It was funny to see Ulf make the grand entrance. Like, he's been lying, essentially, telling tall tales that it's like, Ulf the Dragon Lord, hey! Everyone's like, hey! So. Well,
and I love, too, they go into, on the inside the episode for last episode, they covered the Dragon Seed's 3 different outfits. And it's like, Adam has a very tactical kind of, soldier outfit, but it kind of evokes, like, the outfits that they wear on the ships, because he kind of grew up with Alan. Whereas Hugh, it's like it has all this ornate metalwork because he appreciates that as a blacksmith. And then they said that, that's Hugh. And then Ulf chose what looked the most expensive. He just chose what he thought looked the fanciest, and so he's in this like fancy little red velvet getup. And I just
can you add a little more crushed velvet? That's Hugh's outfit is entirely framing the beard. It starts with the beard, and everything complements that. And yes, Hugh looks magnificent. I love it. I swoon every time he's on TV. So
I love that you're on here, Estella, like giving this insight with like the outfits and stuff, because that makes perfect sense. I didn't know that. I feel like I'm on Two Girls, One Dragon Cup, like with you on here.
Right. Yeah, no, that's like my special interest in the world. I love how they translate the characters in the visual, and you can tell so much about them by how they style them. So.
Yeah, and riding Vermithor, I mean, you really like, you'd understand if some of the common people start to see this guy and be like, isn't that the king? You know, I mean, he's riding Jaehaerys' dragon. He looks like a king.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, you know, potentially a thing. Because, like, yeah, you ride a dragon, it goes to your head. And why is one dragon lord king and another one is just a foot soldier? Like, really?
Yeah. Especially the biggest dragons on the black sides are given to the foot soldiers have them.
Speaking of two girls, one dragon cup, Aegon has a shitty job. Yeah. They're really driving it home. But he deserves that, honestly. He needs to be humbled. So, I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, more Hugh is handsome comments. Corliss gives me vibes of an angry teenage boy trying to fight when he lost, then a wise elder head when he offers counsel. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their moments, you know.
Yeah.
Hugh is an absolute unit, built like a refrigerator, making people wet left and right. Yep, that's right. Most questionable political decision. Let's see how we're doing. So Ormond is pulling ahead of Rhaenyra. Look at that. Ormond's mad plan. He seems calculating, but he's really taking a big risk here. And a lot of this seems to be motivated by this weird doctrine that he's come up with in order to be able to have a Targaryen heir on the throne with a dragon, but that's more Hightower than Targaryen. It's like, okay, this is a lot of justification. What am I trying to say? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't buy it.
Not to change the topic, can we talk about where the heck we think Vhagar is? Do we think Alice has somehow hidden Vhagar, or do we think she's told Vhagar to fly somewhere? What do we think is going on with that?
We're just going to hear next episode that they've burned like 30 villages off screen. That's what they're doing right now, is waging a one-man war in the Riverlands, burning houses from the foot of the Mountains of the Moon all the way over to the edge of the Westerlands. So I think they're just playing up the where is he thing, but the next week we're going to see he's going to be back at Harrenhal talking to Alice Rivers. We saw that. And so we will find out next week where he has been.
Yes. I don't know. What else? Have you gone through all the stills?
No, I kind of put him up there and forgot about him. This one is really incredible.
Yeah.
Alice Rivers. It's pretty funny line. It's like, oh, you don't know. You know, she's bringing them the news of the fall of King's Landing. That was well delivered. She basically cooks with just a couple lines every week. Very effective character. Sure. There's old Gwaine. Did we even see this scene?
I saw that and I couldn't tell who it was, but then because at first I thought it was for some reason Rhaenyra's boys, but then I'm like, okay, no, it has to be Helena.
Yeah,
we did.
It was
okay, I'm sorry. I was taking notes a lot of times during the show today, so I might have missed it. I guess we did. Okay.
Yeah, it's during the Godswood scene with Alicent where Rhaenyra is trying to kind of suss out, you know, what Ormond's weaknesses are, and she's talking about, you know, oh, was it hard for you to send away your own child? And then I think she kind of looks over a bit regretfully at, like, maybe feeling a bit bad that she's kind of keeping Helena away from her daughter quite a bit.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra's constantly thinking about her children, obviously.
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
So one thing related to that people have been asking us to talk about is Orwyle and what his game is. I continue to suspect him of lying. It's like, oh, there's been no correspondence between Otto and Ormond that you could find? Really? That's not believable. Is it?
Unless, like, that's what I was saying before, is that, like, I don't, to answer the question, like, I believe Orwyle for now, but I feel like that line about the correspondence is to show that the Hightowers are doing their own thing where they don't even respond to their own, like Otto, like whatever they're doing is like deep, like deep in the lore. Because, and think about the power that they must have to choose not to respond to the crown. So I think that's what they were saying more so than Orwyle's lying, but it's subjective. I don't know.
Didn't we hear Alicent was saying that she hadn't heard back from Ormond in season 2 at some point, wasn't she?
I think so.
So maybe that's because, once those high towers in King's Landing, you can't trust them if you're Ormond.
They're not on the same accord. They don't
Yeah.
know the secret handshake. They're Hollywood.
And I want to hear both of your thoughts on the conversation that Rhaenyra had with Orwell about the High Septon and what to do about the faith issue. Because she kind of suggested, she was like, oh, I didn't expect you to be so bloodthirsty. But it's like, is that really what he was suggesting? Or what did you take from that conversation? I'm curious.
Yeah, I think that took that at face value as far as Rhaenyra going, oh, so you are a schemer, aren't you? And I think this is increasing her suspicion of him, because she's clearly got her eye on him. It's like, oh, you can continue to serve as long as you're useful. So basically, she's saying, I might cut your head off if I need to.
I see.
Yeah, and so I think Rhaenyra's keeping him in the maybe pile, kind of. Like, she does need... Go ahead.
She does need... No, you can finish.
I was just saying, she needs people to do stuff. She needs a maester. She needs people to delegate to. This guy's got information. We executed the Master of Coin a little hastily. He might have had information we could have used. But clearly he is under suspicion. And I'm almost certain that he's playing Team Green. Like, the big clue was the Ravens, the fact that Larys and Aegon escaped in the Raven cart. And now we've got him saying, oh, yeah, no, there's no letters, no correspondence. I don't know. I think that's suspicious.
But hasn't Orwell written quite a bit of literature in World?
Yes, he's one of the major sources for this because he was involved in a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and in other books too, like about, because I remember Sam or Tyrion, sometimes they like list off titles of books, and then I think there was a few written by Orwell. But that makes me, if he's a writer, if he's a learned man, I just want to be on his side and think that he's good. I think he'll, as a true gray rat, he'll serve whoever is in power faithfully.
That's mostly what they do. Yeah. We saw even like Maester Lewin was giving Theon his best advice when he had to, so.
That's not to say that all of them do that, but I think this one does.
I'm about 75% that he's just straight up Team Green and he's not trying to help Rhaenyra. But so Ormond is going to win this poll by a couple of points over Rhaenyra. I think Rhaenyra made some good decisions and some bad ones this week. It's kind of a mixed bag. She made a lot of decisions, so it's not one thing that people are voting on. But yeah, well, Ormond's crazy plan to put Daeron on the throne, which kind of does make sense for his character, wins the poll there. So.
I was going to say, can you jog my memory? Was Orwell the Maester back in season 1 that was trying different methods on Viserys?
Yes.
So I think he is maybe a little more middle of the ground. I mean, clearly a lot of the Maesters do still have their own agendas, but from what I've seen so far, I mean, he definitely is a schemer, but I feel like he kind of just wants what's best for the realm, is my assumption.
Let's ask the chat, Team Green or Team Black for Orwell?
For Orwell.
Well, and even if he's more loyal to Team Green, this could be just his opinion about what's best for the realm. It's not the crazy Dragon Lord rulers. Or it might change based on circumstance. Like maybe he was uncomfortable with Aemond and he's trying to evaluate Rhaenyra. That could be too, yeah.
Aemond did try to chop his head off, so...
Let's do a quick poll, Maynard Plum. Is Orwell doing what's best for the realm or what's best for Team Green? I think those are the choices.
Or Black. Or is realm synonymous with Black? I like that.
Well, I don't think anyone's suggesting he's Team Black. He's either doing serving the realm, which in this case would be serving Rhaenyra faithfully. That's doing his job. Versus is he Team Black? Yeah.
And speaking of servants of the realm, servants of Rhaenyra, can we talk about Torrhen Manderly a little bit?
Let's. Who is this guy?
Who is that?
Who let him in here?
Who is this guy?
Mariah Carey voice. I don't know her.
It's Torrhen Manderly, everyone. And then Daemon's all like, I'm the clever one around here, which basically means like, shut up except for when I like, just do what I say. I don't know. Daemon, he looks the worst in these meetings. He always is just a total a-hole and just basically tries to ride over people. He doesn't try to win through persuasion. He dismisses everyone. He's derisive. He shows up late, puts his feet up on the table, and yeah, he's just really not good in these meetings.
I was gonna say, I love that Torin is just like, have we thought about taxing people? Have we thought about doing? What if taxes? It was I don't know why, it was very funny to me. Where I was like, I'm sure this will go well. I'm sure this will be a very great idea, is to add more taxes to everyone.
I like how Rhaenyra sunsetted the conversation balls. She's like, no,
yeah.
relic of the past, obsolete. We don't do that anymore.
No, the balls were harmless, Rhaenyra. Come on.
They weren't harmless for old man Beesbury.
No, yeah, good point. Yeah. But I just, you know what I mean? Like, aesthetically, start the meeting.
No, I did. I liked him. But they're clearly a workplace hazard, so.
They are.
Well, and my question too is then, like, why are we keeping the little like holders on the table? Because she was kind of fiddling with it last episode when Corlys was like, I defer to the queen. She's like, oh, useless, and kind of flung it around, and they're still on the table. So I'm like, so we're not gonna have the sign-in balls, but we're gonna have the little cup holder things.
She might have just like literally made that decision on the fly, like, you know what, 86 those. We're not doing those anymore. I thought at first it was gonna be like, no, you don't get a conversation ball, but it turns out the conversation balls are just obsolete now. So
no one gets one.
No one gets one. And I wonder if it was a bit of a metatextual commentary on the fact that a lot of people around season 1 thought they were stupid. If that, it's kind of them being like, okay, we're doing away with them. Because I saw a lot of people being like, this is weird. It makes no sense. These are kind of silly. So maybe it's the writers having a little bit of a laugh about that and being like, yeah, okay, we'll do away with them.
Yeah, no, it's just like the talking stick. Exactly. That's what it is. The conversation balls. I thought they were great, but
yeah.
Look at all these sweet summer children. I agree with the chat person saying, oh, my sweet summer children. You guys need to watch the Grand Maester conspiracy video that I did a few years ago. Like, you should not be trusting these maesters. This is a joke.
Some of them are good. So I think for the Manderley scene, for me, it showed me, it was good writing, okay? Since I was complaining about the writing, this was good writing. But it showed how smart Rhaenyra was, because they said, like, oh, give Master of the Coin, name some Master of Coin so that the public can blame them. Mm-hmm. Last episode, we saw Manderley blaming Rhaenyra for the blockade. So she was like, oh, so you know about money? Okay, let's have the people... Mr.
You're so right. That is...
Mr. Account, let's have the people blame you. But then also seeing that he is useful because he was smart enough to suss out that and bring it up to Rhaenyra. So she's putting someone who's capable in that office, but also punishing him a little bit.
You're so right. I didn't even think about that. That is such a good point. But yeah, she's literally calling back to the previous episode where he called her out. I like that.
And it's a very modern politics type of thing. Set up somebody to take the fall. Like, we see this a lot. Hero with 1,000 Voices points out that wile literally means deceit, like wiles, tricks and wiles. So, or wile.
Good one, Sean.
Yeah. I think this episode has cemented David Hancock. I thought for a minute I was being called like Graham Hancock. This is like David Hancock. Like no, but it's not. David Hancock apparently is one of the hot dragon riders. And writer, not rider, not a dragon rider, a writer. Oh, okay. And like, Condal and Hess, you thought I was inventing more dragon riders. Condal and Hess have had major disappointments with the worst ratings. I mean, they've done good and bad stuff. Their names have been on good and bad episodes, in my opinion. But yeah, this was really well written. I liked how the scenes flowed in and out. A lot of themes being developed across scenes that we've hit on already. Some Shakespearean prose and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was a very well written episode. So I agree with that. And he's named David, so that's cool. But yeah, Sarah Hess has done some of my favorite episodes. That one last season with Rhaenyra, all that tremendous Rhaenyra dialogue to Daemon, maybe episode 3 or 4. I think that was Sarah Hess. But I honestly don't really even pay attention to who's writing which episode that much. I just take the show at face value.
Well, I was going to say it was Sarah Hess's idea to have the last episode be all in Rhaenyra's head, and I thought that episode was fantastic. I thought that was really interesting and fun. So yes.
Yeah, it was a little bit... we're so used to reading A Song of Ice and Fire and getting that purely limited third-person narrative structure. And so there was a little bit of that where, like, the things happening to Rhaenyra start to become a little surreal, and she's seeing Jace, and you just don't know how much of this is literal. It was very like unreliable narrator, yeah. Didn't Orwell help Aegon run away? Well, it's not explicitly said, Grassy Wizard, but that's why I keep bringing up the fact that Aegon and Larys escaped in the Raven cart, which is the purview of the Maesters. So that makes it a decent shot that Orwell might have been involved in that, yeah.
Or they don't have good security around those carts.
That's the other option.
They're easy to hotwire.
I genuinely think there's an internal war in the Citadel between those with Valyrian steel links and the other. Okay, well, that's more of a book theory. It's not something the show will be getting into.
I did have a question. Sorry, you can go first, Nettles.
Nope.
Okay.
You go.
I was going to say, on the wall that was graffitied that said Queen of Bastards, there was like a little red, blue, green little fleur thingy. Am I missing something? Was that in reference to something? Like it said Queen of Bastards and then there was like 3 little colors. It was like blue, red, green.
Oh, is that a How Strong sigil, like Strong Bastards?
Oh, okay. Is that what it was in reference to?
I didn't catch it, but just based on what you're saying, those are the colors of How Strong.
Okay, because I was like, this is definitely in reference. I was thinking, like, in my mind, I was like, well, blue, Velaryon, red, Targaryen. I was like, is this like also calling her children with Daemon bastards? But no, you're probably totally right. This probably is just the sigil for How Strong. And I just
the chat is saying
on what it looks
some
like.
people in the chat saw it that way. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I thought it was also a double reference to the other dragon riders, potentially. Like, who are these nobodies that you put on dragons? But yeah, I guess it's mostly about her sons. Go ahead, Nettles.
No, I'm just saying, to agree with you, Rhaenyra said that line, let me be the queen of bastards. So
one of the overbaked Twitter takes from before the season was that, like, oh, this is dumb. They've got graffiti. The commoners are illiterate. This is dumb. And I was like, no, some of them know how to read, and that's just what you saw. Some people couldn't read it, and so he was like, ask somebody else. They asked their smart friend, what does that say? And the guy squinted at it, and he's like, oh, Queen of Bastards. And that's makes perfect sense. So all the people that wasted time tweeting about that, like, you guys are silly. Anyway, there's my...
And I will say, I think it makes more sense than what we saw in Game of Thrones, where it said, Misa is a master in the common tongue over in Marine. I think people were like, why is this in English if we're over in Marine? So I think this made more sense. It worked for me.
I want to put on my green hat for a little bit. If I were to be a derelict scum of the earth and decide to be Team Green, I would be 100% behind Ormond's plan to put Daeron as king. I just want to say, like, how great of a plan it is and how obvious it is. Like, if you're someone from Old Town, you got Maesters and you got the religion. So that means you don't want the dragons. So let's get rid of the biggest dragon, Vhagar. Like, Vhagar is the baddest dragon who can do the most harm, who can hardly be controlled. So let's get rid of him. And we've heard whispers about Aemon being like a psychopath. Everything you guys say about Daemon, Aemon has done it and done it worse, okay? So let's get rid of the psychopath. Let's get rid of the biggest dragon. And let's put this cute little blue dragon and Daeron. Like, I love him. Like, this episode made me love him. I must add another baby daddy to the roster if Daeron is of age. And so, like, his personality, like, even as a black, like, if I had to pick a green to put in office, it would be Daeron. So, like, I'm totally behind this.
They are, yeah, and it's just the right age of where, like, he's old enough to wear the hat, but you can basically tell him, hopefully you puppet him, and, you know, but the main thing is just what you said, that he's raised a high tower and the other ones aren't. The main reason why the plan is crazy is because he's just jumping the gun. Aemond and Vhagar are still out there, but absolutely, you're right. Like, it makes sense. It fits the MO. It is what the high towers might want to do. And you'll notice Alicent set up Aemond and Vhagar to look like frauds because she wrote to Ormond in Aemon's name and said, I'll be there in 3 days, knowing that they weren't going to be there. So now Ormond's like, oh, what is Aemon doing? He's effing off doing something. He's not here. So yeah, it kind of makes you wonder if Alicent is in on Ormond's plan, or if she is just throwing Aemon under the bus because she's already turned on Aemon. But it could be that she's in league with Ormond and knows all of this stuff.
Even if she's not in league, she could have accidentally done it, like accidentally sent Aemon to his death to Harrenhal because she made a deal with Rhaenyra. She could be inadvertently like helping Ormond along to get rid of Aemon.
For sure. And I was going to say on the inside the episode, because I had not thought about that of Alicent possibly being in on Ormond's plans. She does mention that, like, with Helena being pregnant, the first thing she's thinking is, okay, how can I still get me and Helena and Jaehaera out of here? So I could see her secretly kind of cavorting with Ormond on how do we still get stuff done. For sure.
And someone asked the question earlier, like, how long do you think Alicent's going to give Rhaenyra advice? Forever, like as long as she can. Like, I think Alicent like loves this. Like, this was the original plan that some of us in the fandom said in season 1, like Alicent and Rhaenyra should work together. And even like as friends, like you could see them having that conversation of like, one day you'll be queen and we'll rule together. You're my best friend. And you give her the friendship bracelet, you know? So like, we're actually getting that. Of course, it's through like 2 decades of like horror in between, like having kids, losing kids, wrong guy, I kissed a girl and I liked it, all that stuff in between, but baggage. But we're getting that, like, we're ruling together. See, I do the hard thing and I ask you for advice and you feel self-worth. Like, I love to see it. So as much as Alicent would love to get Helena out of there, if this could be like a peaceful little reign, I could see her wanting to stay with her bestie.
I just want to say that Aegon kissed a foot and he liked it.
We don't know if he liked it. We didn't see if he liked it.
No, he didn't like it. He clearly didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, with that in mind, not the foot thing, the thing we were talking about before with Alicent and Rhaenyra, Emma Darcy did
not
say
Alicent
that...
and Laris's foot thing, because that's different.
No, that's different. Yeah. But with Alicent and Rhaenyra, Emma Darcy has said that with Alicent being locked up, it's kind of like Rhaenyra has locked her conscious into King's Landing, into, it's her consciousness is locked up and she's going to check in every once in a while of like, hey, am I doing a good job? Like, Alicent is kind of being her Jiminy Cricket in a way of like, hey, am I still doing good? And Alicent is kind of relishing in it because she's like, yeah, it's not as easy as you thought it would be, huh? I have really good advice. I'm actually very smart. So
it actually is a very George Martin, A Song of Ice and Fire thing to take people who are enemies but contrive to put them together to have interesting dialogue. I do think they're doing that pretty successfully. And this is one of those things where in Fire and Blood, we know they were in King's Landing together, but we just don't hear about what's going on. So it's a perfect little blank spot to put in some dialogue. And now they don't even have to sneak Alicent and Rhaenyra back and forth across Blackwater Bay to do this. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Real quick, just the chat was being funny, and they're pointing out that Lady Footley was checking out Ormond's piece when he stood up. And I also think it's worth talking about Ormond doing the whole like nude power play, like I shall bathe in public and bare myself to you, and you have to just deal with it because I'm, it's like, yeah, some sort of.
Yeah.
Daenerys did it.
What's that?
Daenerys did it in the show.
She did.
First time she meets, when Dario comes to her room and he's bringing the heads, she stands up and she's like, see, I'm tough. This is my naked body. You better not react.
I have the meme of Dario's butt and Daenerys kind of looking at it.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Yeah.
But you're right. I kind of remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say too, I loved the dumb hat on Lady Footley, and then was that Lord Footley, whoever that was. I loved the commitment to having just random nobles in dumb hats, because also when the people were reading the Queen of Bastards sign, that guy had just the funkiest, most foppish hat on. And it's never the mains. It's always these side characters that have ridiculous hats. It's very fun.
Now that you bring it up, it's a very easy visual storytelling method to use to say this person is ridiculous and not to be taken seriously. Like, just put a silly hat on him. That's why Tycho Nestoris is so interesting, because he wears a silly hat, and then it's like, oh, this guy, he's a banker. Watch out, he's got teeth, But yeah,
I'm gonna pay attention to the hats on the second watch.
Ormond Long Tower, more like it. I was calling him Ormond Dab Tower, or the highest high tower, because like I said, he's got his whole dab rig there, and
I know, he was like grinding stuff. He had it all set up. I was like, oh, this is really funny.
yeah, that's what it was. Like, yeah, it just all the little devices to do his little personal habit. Yeah, I strongly related to that. And
That's
so,
funny.
like we said, there's a change here with Tumbleton. They kept the fact that Footley was loyal to Rhaenyra, but they have changed the circumstances now. So originally, Team Black, they muster at Tumbleton to resist the Green Army that's marching up from Old Town. And here they've, the Greens are taking it hostage. It makes sense. Basically, they are using the town itself as a hostage. They're like, oh, you want to come destroy us? Well, you're going to kill a bunch of people who were loyal to you if you do that. And so it kind of does make sense, because they're badly outnumbered in dragons. And so this is one of their only moves besides just surrendering. So, yeah.
There was a super chat from earlier that said, like, what would it take to turn Ulf and Hugh? In y'all's opinions.
Well, there's a lot of motivations here. Let's save that for the spoiler section,
Spoilers? Okay.
which we should do pretty soon here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just heard.
Poogie has a good comment here. Has Sunfire been discussed? I suspect he's in a state of brumation in order to heal. What is that? This is a new science word I didn't know. Brumation.
Brumation is like hibernation in reptiles. I think it's like molting, and I think I might not have it right, but
He's
I think
napping.
that's when
He's deep
snakes-
sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And I think it's when they shed their skin, when snakes shed their skin after that.
Okay. So I support this. I made a video about Visenya's unnatural conception of Maegor, and how George might be taken from the lizard kingdom, geckos and Komodo dragons and parthenogenesis and all this stuff. So I support this. This is great. Brumation. Thank you for the word of the day.
Yes, very fun.
What do you guys think Ormond includes in his dab pot? I think Ormond seems like an indica guy, honestly. Like, he's really high strung. He can't be smoking sativa. So, I don't know. He's probably got some like Old Town Gelato 33 or something. I'm not sure.
He's definitely a wedding cake guy.
Wedding cake. Okay, I see that. Yeah. All right. That's a good call. He's doing salvia. Yeah,
I was going to say, he's so crazy. I think he's doing salvia.
What'd you say, Estella?
I said, I was literally thinking he's so insane. He's probably doing salvia. He's just like off his rocker. Like, he shouldn't be, but he is.
Yeah. Again, wrong answers only. What's he smoking on? What's he ingesting there?
Glue. Don't say Gorilla Glue.
I just finished off some GG4. I'm a big fan. He smokes swag. No, he does not smoke swag. That's what we know for sure he does not. Yeah, bath salts, possibly.
Bath salts, yeah. He definitely puts essential oils in them. He's just up there. Frankincense, lavender.
Yeah.
Like,
we saw him with there were like little rosebuds. He's crushing up rose petals in there. He's getting real bougie with it.
You have a feeling like if him and Illyrio could hang out and start like opening their chests and showing each other their rare tinctures and stuff, like they'd have a pretty nice spread on the table about 45 minutes into it.
Yeah.
Brumation is a state of dormancy that reptiles enter typically during the winter. During this period, reptiles reduce their metabolism and body functions. There you go. Ogden Nature Center. Thank you. Thank you, David Lightbringer. Oh, that's Maynard Plum logged in as me. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I was confused.
That's funny.
Okay.
I have a co-host called Westeros and Chill, and she actually met her husband being zookeeper, so she has like a lot of snakes. I think you met her, Dave.
Who's that?
Westeros and Chill. She's the one that had the snakes, always on my show.
Yes, on your show.
Me about
Yeah.
yeah.
let's see here. There was a couple of funny moments when Kristen and Gawain were rolling up to Harrenhal. You know, it's like third or fourth time we've seen somebody roll up to Harrenhal and be like, man, it's spooky around here. So it's kind of like a routine at this point. We heard the goat bleeding. And then I like Kristen Cole when he's like, oh yeah, you know, we're outnumbered in dragons. One king is dead. Aemon's buggered off. Our army is reduced. And yeah, we got him right where we want him. You know, so it's, again, you can see Kristen is like, his mind state is very questionable. He may or may not have given up hope. Yeah, so that's kind of more of that plot line from him. But he does enjoy punching Gawain in the dick a little bit. He likes to do that. It's just like doesn't pass up any chance to make that guy feel bad or just say no. Like, oh, you want to do something? No. Too bad. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, he's going to harry the Riverlands army. We talked about that. So my theory about Viserys' body being left to rot is looking weaker. I thought that was going to be Viserys' skull. It wasn't. It was Dave the Dragon Rider / Goatherd. And we saw the Lego City be unveiled, but there was no Viserys' body. I still think there's a question, though, because we just never saw the funeral. So, like, where is she going to... she would have found it by now, though. I would have think this is one of the first things she would have done when she got to the Red Keep is like, let me see, you know, but...
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
They could still find it in a closet somewhere.
Yeah, she hasn't uncovered every little nook and cranny.
We haven't seen it, Fernando. That's the point. We have not seen the body. We do not know.
Don't give up, Dave.
I won't. I'm still hoping for a increasingly rotting. Anyways, we did talk about Helena briefly, just to say that, yeah, she's definitely pregnant. We also talked about who the father could be. I tend to think it was probably Aegon, but obviously some people want it to be Aemond. Let's see.
I'm here for the mess. Always give me the messiest option.
And it's not that Alicent would intentionally desecrate Viserys' corpse. It was more like there was a lot going on. Nobody made it their problem to deal with, and he just got shoved in a closet somewhere. That was kind of the theory, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
But in the books, it is intentional. And that's like part of the plot point of like...
Yeah. Yes, it's in the first days of the coup. Like, they let the king's body rot in his bedchamber to the point where it starts to smell. And it's like not for a week that they ring the bells or something like that. But we're way past that time now. So they could be recycling a version of that plot. Or it could be one of those things where they just like didn't have time to do it. And he's just gone. I don't know. We should just assume, you know.
I was going to say, it's interesting, too, that Gawain is the one that told Alicent that Daeron is kind. And in this episode, we saw Daeron ask, though, he's like, oh, if Aemon's not coming, he's like, is Gawain still coming, though? And I'm like, oh, so it'll be interesting to see, like, those two characters seem to have somewhat of a relationship and rapport. And I feel like Daeron probably takes more after Gawain than Ormond. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they will survive to meet each other, but you're right to point out that connection. Poor Riverlanders, they have to suffer the most in almost every war. And we saw some anti-Riverlander racism at Rook's Rest. The people on Cracklaw Point, they don't like those Riverlanders. That kind of makes sense. So,
water people. Do you guys think that Daeron killed the boy? In that moment when he why did he stab that man like that? Come on.
I don't know, but I definitely thought it was an intentional parallel to Rhaenyra, you know, having to do her official price, my first execution. And now we've got Daeron, who Ormond just said, you're going to be king. And part of being king of Westeros is doing really bad executions. So here you go.
Dang, they're not Starks. Nobody can do it like a Starks. But
no, but poked him. Yeah, I thought he was going to try to behead him, or they were going to prick him so the dragon would eat him, but he just kind of just stabbed him.
Yeah.
It felt like a young boy trying to kill something for the first time is kind of what it felt like. Because I think we all agree didn't seem like the right way to do it, but it was a way to do it, I guess.
But he did it. You know, you could tell he didn't want to, but he did it. So it's like, does this mean that he killed the boy and now he might change for the worse and become a sinister high tower like his bloodline tells him to be? Or is it just like, just kind of like a throwaway thing?
So, Summer, we dove into this a little bit. She's saying, I think Darren has been abused by his uncle. It's very sinister what his uncle is doing to Darren's personal identity. It definitely is. You know, your blood is tainted, but if you walk the right path, then you won't be one of the bad ones. Like, it's very manipulative, and it is encouraging a fractured self-image instead of trying to help Darren be a good dragon rider for their side. He's like, yeah, doing sort of this side job on him because he's not comfortable with the dragons and stuff. So yeah, it was very gross and sinister, and it was meant to be. So yeah, thanks for picking up on that and bringing that back around, because yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It sure was.
It's like, reminds me of Robb Stark having to tie up Grey Wind. It's like, you have this powerful beast, mythical beast, and you keep it chained up, you know, as like a leader. So it's like questionable. But then it's like Ormond chooses to show Tessarion, like last episode, when it's time to show military prowess. Oh, I'm gonna put the dragon up front. Like, you know, like it's gonna be the first thing you see. And then, but in everyday life, the dragon's like chained up.
Yeah. And I have a couple thoughts on that. One, yes, I agree 100%. Like, and when Tessarion like lit up that person, Ormond had this look on his face that I was like, oh, you are relishing in this. Even though you're like, oh, the Targaryens are queer and their dragons are unnatural. He looked like he was enjoying that a little bit. And then two, with that idea of, you know, kill the boy, become a man, seeing that Daeron seems to have some affection for Gawain, maybe if something happens to Gawain, maybe that'll be the thing that hardens him a little bit to being like, okay, you know, I now feel like I have more stakes in this.
Yeah. And there's no one left who's good.
Who's nice to him, yeah.
Yeah.
So I loved that Tessarion was like, he was menacing. He was figuring out like, oh, this guy's about to get killed. Like he was starting to look like, oh, you want me to do it? You want me to chomp him? And I was really good.
At him.
I was getting ready to be mad if they didn't let Tessarion get in on the action. Like that would have been a fake out. But no, they did feed the guy to the dragon, or at least the corpse to the dragon. And there was a good comment in the chat here. It'll come back to me.
You could see too that Tessarion was very defensive of Daeron. Like when Ormond went to go put his hand on him and the dragon growled, I'm like, the dragon knows that this is not a good man. That like this is not someone that you know, her rider is comfortable with. So
I think I was thinking of the strange parallel to Dunk and Sir Arlen. Isn't it Sir Arlen that's like, oh, don't name your horse, but then he does? Or is that somebody else that says that? There's somebody in the story that says that.
I don't remember. That one's escaping me. Chat knows.
I thought it
Chat
was
is
Sir
old
Arlen.
gods.
Arlen, yes, okay. And so here we have the real version of it. Oh, Jaime Lannister. Yeah, okay. But he names his horses too. Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
And so here we see kind of, Ormond is willing to use the dragon, but he considers it a beast. Like, don't be friends with it. Don't get attached to it. And, oh, yes, I love the fact that when Tessarion finally did go for his snack, he climbed over the altar and, like, knocked a bunch of the candles over just to, like, put a visual symbolism on this contrast between a high tower and the dragon. It's like the dragon doesn't have any respect for the altar. It doesn't give a crap.
Yep. Yeah, very well done.
So that's cool. Yeah. Tessarion. Have some respect for Tessarion.
Someone said Dothraki don't name their horses. I don't know.
That's true also. Yes. Isn't it? I think that's right. Yeah.
That's what someone said. Yeah.
They have a special bond with their horses, but they don't name them.
Yeah. Their whole religion, culture, identity is a menu item. Their fast food joint says only horse meat, but nah, we're not going to name them.
Yeah, one of their gods is just the Great Stallion. So doesn't have a name, not Tim the Stallion. Considering how important Roddy the Ruin and the Northmen at Tumbleton, they sure haven't named him in the show, and it's episode 4. Yeah, that's one of the losses of not showing the red fork or the fish feed, is that we've just seen Roddy singing drinking songs, but not actually fighting. They'll probably, I think by the time he gets in the battle, they'll rectify it. He'll make a mark before the show's over.
So seeing how like season 3 is going so well, and so many mistakes are kind of being fixed, do you guys think that they're listening to us? Do you think that they're tuned into David Lightbringer streams?
Well, we have to say that they might have been listening to George, since Helena is now pregnant, apparently, with Maylor.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I think so. They said they weren't. They're like, no, we've already had these plans, for, years to come. And I'm like, have you though? To me, it feels a little.
Some of these are too on the nose. It's too on the nose, some of these fixes.
I
Even
do
like, I'm
think
saying,
that there's some
I'm
evidence
taking
that they
credit.
maybe are.
No, I'm saying I think some of the stuff you've said, is
I was backing away
happening.
from. I didn't want to take that much credit. I was just going to say they're listening to the fandom, maybe in general, with some of these things. I think that could be, but yeah, maybe they're watching my show. Who knows?
Either way, I'm liking whoever they're listening to. I'm liking the direction it's going in. I think so far, 4 episodes in, the season has been fantastic. So
I don't think anyone's saying this season is worse than last season. I think a lot of people think it's better. Even the people that are pretty hard on the show, I think it's definitely a better season. And we've hit it a million times. But if episode 1 and 2 of this season were on the end of last season, it would have been better, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I've enjoyed what's going on so far.
Dang. Tyrick.
Lannisters say don't name your horses, and yet they named Tyrek, who is a horse. That's right. I see what you did there. Maegor is Condal's olive branch to George. That's what I'm saying. Like, George, I'm sorry. Take me back. Let's be friends. I think so. The thing is that George wasn't just complaining about Maylor. He was beefed about a lot of stuff, and he just chose that to make an issue of. So there is other stuff below the surface. But I obviously hope that they can work it out. We all want to see. I mean, George signed the contract. He might as well work it out. This is what he signed up for. So, yeah. Maylor is incubating. Sunfire lives. Yep. I think all this is true. And let's see here. Will they speed the Targaryen pregnancy? Will she? Yeah. Who knows? It might not end up being the whole Bitterbridge plot line, but we'll have to see what they do.
What else? Did we forget? What else happened this episode?
Well, we talked about Jane Eyre briefly, but I just want to come back to there to say it was cool to see the Eyrie. She looked very regal on her weirwood throne. I had the image up a minute ago. Was digging that. You can see Lady Jane is very proud. She always, she was sure to say, "Oh, you're coming here with a tin cup, a beggar with a tin cup. I never thought I would live to see the day." So she's not she's going to give the gold, but she's flexing some political muscle at the same time. And I thought that was a well done scene. The charming moon door, Damon's like, "Oh, I always enjoy the charm of the Eyrie," as he's looking at the moon door. Kind of ostentatious execution method right in the middle of the throne room. And so I enjoyed that whole thing. Lady Jane is not a huge character in the story, but she has good presence in the scenes she's in, kind of like Simon Strong.
Yeah, I was going to say, I liked seeing her dogs. I couldn't tell what kind of dog they were. They looked almost like Afghan hounds or something. And I like that we're getting different dogs. Last season, or I think it was season 1, we saw someone with a pug. Ramsay had dogs that looked almost like Cane Corso looking, almost like pit bull type dogs. And I'm like, I like that Lady Jane Eyre has these fancy dogs with these long, silky ears. I just thought it was kind of cute.
Yeah, the chat is all over it. Afghan Hound or Saluki. Shout out to the 80s Dune movie where Leto's got the little pug that he carries around while he's like fighting with his laser gun.
Love it.
No, Lady Jane looks amazing, way better than Lysa could ever dream to look. And I'm reminded about how every time there's conflict, the Eerie always has a woman in charge, a capable woman. Like I'm thinking about like Visenya during the conquest, um, having to deal with like a very sensible woman in power. So it's like it's. I'm just reminded that even if we're seeing like failures of like women in power, like Daenerys and Rhaenyra, like the story showing us like, oh, it's bad when women are in power. We always have great examples, just like hidden in plain sight, like
Mhm.
the woman of the Eerie.
Yeah, and there's obviously Alisand gets a ton of credit for a lot of stuff Jaehaerys did, and
Hmm.
there's a master of coin at one point in the story. It's basically his wife that's doing
His
everything, and
wife,
they
yes.
promote the man because they have to, but everyone knows it's her. Who is that?
Oh, it's is it Elena Targaryen? She has the gold streak. Is that who
That
I'm thinking
sounds
of?
right.
Right.
Sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
would say
shout
I
out
would
to
have liked
Indeep
to.
Geek. The super chat's asking me to do a stream with Indeep Geek. I don't know that we'll stream together, but yeah, I reference him all the time. He's done a lot of great theories. And like I always say, I appreciate all the other people. We are collectively keeping the fandom alive. Like, we don't have any friggin'. It's been 15 years since Winds of Winter. So, like, all of us together, you in the chat, all of us here, all the other channels, like, we are keeping this thing going. We are keeping the interest going because we want the ending. We want to know what happens to John and Danny and the White Walkers. And we didn't see it on the show. So, yeah, shout out to everybody doing the good work. Do you guys think Ormond makes Daron dye his hair auburn? We talked about this earlier. Yes, we think that's a possibility because of how much he hates the Targaryens. It would be sort of a perfectly kind of crazy, taking it a little too far type of thing for him to do. I see some people saying his hair is actually auburn, but when you then why dye the decoy's hair silver? Well, dyeing, right, the fact that they dyed the guy's hair silver, that's a good question. Like, if Daron always has red hair, shouldn't some people know that he has red hair?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, to dye his hair silver kind of implies that people would identifiably recognize him as a kid with silver hair. At least that's what I thought, but maybe not. Maybe they're just like silver hair automatically is associated with Targ, and so Damon won't question it. Like, I don't know.
It
They
also
should.
seems like I was gonna say it seems like very few people know that Darren is a prince though, because he's very much acting the part of a squire. Head down, yes sir, yes sir. This episode we did have quite a few people say by prince and address him, but I think like those are people in the inner circle. I think everyone else, I mean, I guess they see the dragon, but I don't know.
I
That is
think it would
tricky.
be more tighter anti-plot hole writing if he did have silver hair, and they'd recently just started dyeing his hair orange. That would make the most sense. But it could just be that, yeah, it was all done to fake out the audience, and that's just, they
Could be.
dyed
We
him
have
with
so
silver hair to
many.
fool them.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have so many characters in the main series that dye their hair to conceal themselves that I'm like, it would be kind of fun to bring in that element a little bit.
Yeah, I
They've got
definitely
this
think
Ty
so.
Roshi assistant mixing the hair dyes.
Doing a great job too.
Yeah, we'll have to
I
see.
was in
That's
my episode 3
intriguing.
review, I said that the decoy Daron just had a little bowl of bleach and toner under the bed to touch up his roots every night just to make sure in case anyone came by. Because I was like, how does that little boy have no roots? Like, how is it's just so perfect.
He's like, what is this, wig tape?
Yep, yep, yep.
I would have loved if it was just almost like an office style. They zoom in and you see tiny little roots growing in, just like, something real goofy.
Da-na-na-na.
My question too is why didn't they just get a boy from Lys or like really anywhere in Essos where Valyrian traded kids are a dime a dozen?
They don't got the time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
It's a long way,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a long way.
yeah.
They would have had to set this up a long time ahead of time.
Last minute
There
plan.
was we got a comment. Ormond, like, was very offended by the idea of a woman on the throne. He took a minute to be like, they've put a woman on the throne, pshaw. Like, he was very,
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
yeah, just to make us hate him a little more. He is a gender essentialist, a gender bigot.
I was gonna say though, it would make sense, yeah, if the Daron thing was like a very last minute decision, because he seems kind of like the guy that gets a little high off his own supply and then gets like really crazy ideas, and then is like, we have to do this idea now. We like Daron, we're gonna put you on the throne. Like I just feel like every week he probably has some new convoluted thing going on. So very much so.
My drugs have given me a new idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I think we have hit most of the scenes here. I think maybe we can do a little bit of spoiler talk.
Woohoo!
We certainly can't repeat the things that Ormond was shouting during his temper tantrum.
No.
Just the C word over and over, basically. They did one line that was interesting, when they were passing off the goat herd's head as the rider of Sheepstealer. They reminded us, like, how mad Rhaenyra is. I wanted to look upon the face of the one who killed my son. So this tells us, like, if she finds out that Rhaena was the one riding it, she's going to be pissed, which means she's going to find out and she's going to be pissed. This is coming soon to a screen near you.
Yeah. But if I was Rhaenyra would have no idea. I would like fake it out and be like, oh, now that rider's dead, I'm going to be the one to claim Sheepstealer. This is my first time riding Sheepstealer. Oh my gosh, look, I did it, guys. Like,
I snuck up on him in the cave and I killed him and I took Sheepstealer. Yeah.
So that's how come
I was totally in Pentos and he flew to me, and now I was totally with the children the whole time and this dragon just showed up. Yeah.
It could work, but I think you're right, Dave. It's not going to go like that. Somehow Rhaenyra is going to find out.
So what should Rhaena do? She's in a tough position. Like, given that she rode Sheepstealer in and what happened, what should she do now? Her choice is, I'm going to live in exile, lie about me, and I'm just going to live in the mountains by myself with my dragon and be removed from society like a hermit.
Yeah, too dramatic. Come on, girl. It's not that serious.
A little melodramatic, yes.
You have the heart of a dragon. Like, you should be tougher than that. What I would do is just walk up to Rhaenyra and be like, Rhaenyra, my dragon's bigger than yours. Point one. Don't try me. Number two. Number two. I came to help. It was an accident. I don't know how to train my dragon. Can you help me? I'm going to be endearing. Like, oh, I need my mother, my stepmom to help me. Please teach me these things and stuff. And just be like, it was an accident, but now I'm on your side. Like, that seems simple to me. Call me a young girl naive in the ways of political talks, but like, that's what I would do. It seems simple.
Yeah, she's in her feelings. The most honorable thing to do would be to present herself to Rhaenyra and plead mercy and trust that A, she will get mercy because she's a family member, and B, if it's another dragon, it's another dragon. And I think that was also part of maybe what Rhaenyra's interest was when she's like, I wanted to see this person. Like, I wanted to know who claimed the wild dragon. Like, she's interested in it as a phenomenon. And Daemon's just like, oh, it's not really that interesting. I mean, it's never been done before, but forget about it, moving on.
Well, and I'm going to say something, maybe this is a controversial take. I don't fully blame Rhaena for Jace's death. I think there was a lot of chaos going on in that battle, and I think, she shouldn't have shown up with Sheepstealer. That definitely was not a good thing, but I think if she explained to Rhaenyra of, like, there was a lot of chaos going on, there was a lot of projectiles being shot, like, it's a tragedy, it's terrible, I can repent all I want for it, but at the end of the day, I'm a dragon rider and I'm on your side. Because I think Rhaenyra is more paranoid about the Greens having another dragon, honestly. She keeps bringing that up of like, how did they claim another? Who is this dragon rider? I think she'll be honestly kind of relieved to know that it was an accident and that this is not a dragon that she now has to worry about.
Yes.
Yeah, well said. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I disagree with you saying that it wasn't Rhaenyra's fault. 100% her fault. Because if you remove her from the Battle of the Gullet, Jace lives.
So I think that she gets some blame, certainly. But she wasn't... The big difference is, like, is this an antagonistic dragon rider that killed Jace on purpose, which is what Rhaenyra thinks, versus I claimed my dragon, I tried to use the commands that they taught me, and it didn't listen to me, and it just flew around and did crazy stuff, and I was just holding on for dear life. So at least she would be, by fessing up and taking responsibility, she'd be also giving Rhaenyra better intelligence about what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Sheep Stealer is... I think we can have sympathy for Rhaena. She definitely was a big factor in it. But also Jace and Baelor are flying low among ships that are trying to shoot them with grapnels. So, like,
yeah,
in the books, that happened anyway, without any intervention.
I was just going to say, he did get shot with one anyways. It clipped his harness, and just the nature of Fire and Blood, he was, even if she wasn't there, he was still going to die anyways, because that's the nature of the story. So to me, I'm like, even if, you know, but she shouldn't have been there. I agree with that 100%. She was so out of her element, and it definitely caused more problems.
Yeah, and so I think we all agree that Rhaena should face the music. She's kind of being in her feelings. Like, oh, I was rejected, and you guys, blah, blah, blah. Now I have a dragon, and I just wanted to be a Targaryen, and fine then, I'll just stay up here. Like, she's definitely being immature about it.
Kill the girl, Rhaena. Come on.
But I think it's believable. I think it's good writing. We can disagree with the decision, but I think it makes sense to the character. Funny how, because she's been nursing this hurt feeling for a long damn time and feeling like an outsider for a long time. So this is a big part of her identity. Funny how Ormond sees himself as superior to the Targaryens, but the Hightowers might come from another dragon-riding civilization. Yeah, we brought that up earlier. It's been a while, though. And we also have to consider that the first Hightowers were said to slay the dragons roosting on the Battle Isle Fortress. So even though I do think that they're from the Great Empire of the Dawn, they seem to have turned loyal to Westeros and fought against, you know, Bloodstone Emperor's forces or whatever. Like, the dragons were slain, and they didn't continue to have dragons there. So I think they are from the Great Empire of the Dawn, but not necessarily pro-dragon. And if they were, this would have only been at the very beginning and not for thousands and thousands of years. So I don't think that, you know, talk to me about Lord Leighton. That's a different story, what he might be up to in the books. But no, I don't think any of these show Hightowers are thinking about the Great Empire of the Dawn. I do not think so. I think it'd be impossible for most viewers to understand. You'd have to explain way too much. It's not relevant to this story.
But that's why it could just be a nod, just for us book people, maybe.
Perhaps.
Just a little nod.
And not only is Tessarion a dragon in Old Town, we are in the by the way, spoilers all. We're in the spoiler territory now. Rhaena, in the books, she hatches the dragon Morning, which is a young dragon, and eventually she marries a Hightower and lives in Old Town and has 6 children. We have no idea when Morning died. We only know that, so Morning hatches in 131, at the end of 130, beginning of 131. Rhaena's riding her by 135. By 153 AC, so about 20-some years later, that's when Sir Arlen sees the, quote, last dragon in King's Landing that's just a little deformed one. So that means that Morning has died by that time, or else it wouldn't be the last dragon, but we have no idea when. And so Rhaena and Morning could have gone to Old Town, and maybe the Maesters poisoned Morning in Old Town when she was there. That's possible.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, too, doesn't another kind of deformed dragon hatch in, we're full spoiler talk at this point, yes, in a baby's crib? Is it like Baela's child's crib or something?
It's Laena the Second. It's Alan Oakenfist, yes, and Baela's daughter, yes, Laena, Velaryon the Second, essentially.
Yeah. So it's like it's arguable of was this dragon also poisoned? What's going on here? And so, I don't think we'll get that far in the show at all, but it does bring up some interesting questions as to where some of these characters' stories are going to go.
Although I'd move that up. I would just grab that and move it up and just have some worm dragon hatch somewhere just for kicks. But yeah, probably
just for
not.
Fun.
Yeah.
And what was the spoiler question from earlier? Oh, Ulf and Hugh. That's what it was. So we see that they are setting them up to have different motivations, potentially, for turning. But we see that Hugh's wife is in Tumbleton. Hugh's wife, what's her name? I always forget it.
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to that.
She has a name, but she's basically Hugh's wife. It's her brother that is killed at the end of the episode by Daeron. That's her brother. And so this is a personal motivation.
Cat.
Go ahead.
Cat is her name.
Cat?
Oh, cat.
K-A-T.
K-A-T.
That's what somebody said.
Okay.
That's what everyone's saying in the chat.
I thought it was something else. Okay, everyone says it's Cat. Never mind, it's Cat. Cat Hammer. That's her. And so yeah, she's that was her brother that got killed. And so this is basically an atrocity by Team Green, Carl Anthony Towns, against Hugh's, sister-in-law, which would not lead to Hugh betraying Team Black for Team Green. So there's more to come with that. But maybe he doesn't learn the truth of it. Maybe his wife is killed in the assault. Maybe, I still think what's going to happen is he's going to be commanded to burn the city or attack the city, and he will refuse because he thinks his wife is down there. And Ulf is just nursing a bunch of small grievances and a sort of over-aggrandized sense of self.
Oh, for sure.
For me, for Ulf, like the question is, what would it take to turn him? One conversation with Ormond Hightower. Just one conversation. Ormond is so smart. Ormond is so vicious. I think Ormond will just not even, Ulf doesn't have to speak. He's going to look at him and be like, okay, I'm going to give you this. Like he'll be able to suss out like what kind of man he is and what he needs to offer him. Just one conversation or one like jab, insult, and like made in the right way that Ulf will turn. And then for Hugh, I think...
Hold on. The chat's like a cheeseburger would turn Ulf.
No.
Honestly.
Good vintage probably would do the trick, though. Go ahead.
Rolex. For Hugh, I think it'll be a little bit more personal because they've chosen to like bring his wife and brother like up to Ormond. So that means like we're supposed to be paying attention to them. So her brother has died. I could see her going up to Ormond and saying, hey, where's my brother? He came to, I'm here to get him back, or I'm asking about him. You guys were nice last time. And then like something awful happens to her. I think I imagine like she would just be like fire, like we just see fire flame, like burn her whole building down, like kind of like an off-screen type of death. But I think it'll be something more personal, like the R word, like a dagger, like some, like not her just being awash in flame. I think it'll be bad.
Something terrible. My boyfriend very jokingly said that Hugh's wife seemingly is taking acting classes at the Christopher Nolan School of Dead Wives. And I definitely agree. I think that she is marked for tragedy in some way, and that will ultimately be the motivation for Hugh. As much as I don't love like the fridging of the wife trope, because I think it can be overdone, I think if they pull it off in the right way, it could be interesting and it could work. So I definitely agree. I think something terrible is going to happen to her.
Yeah, because you have to think about some of these characters, these side characters are serving as proxies, okay? Hugh's wife represents all the commoners that are caught in the middle of this shit. And we care about her because she has a relation to a main character. But we should understand that, like, yeah, there's 1,000 people just like her that are caught in this. And shout out to the broken men. Larys and Aegon, Aegon's like, hey, those are my troops. We just have to say I'm who I am. And they'll treat it like, and he's like, no, look at these people. They're loyal only to themselves. We see a feral child, or at least a hungry child, searching for food. And yes, these are the broken men that Maribald talks about. They've turned, it doesn't matter what their sigil is anymore. Wolves or lions, it makes no matter. So that was cool that we saw that. Little Feast for Crows vignette.
Yeah. And I agree. I think literally one conversation with Ormond will promise him something very, mundane, honestly, or like the chat has said, a cheeseburger, I think at this point, because like you said, he's feeling disrespected. He keeps trying to make these bids for connection that are really awkward and not at all well planned of like, we're family. We're all Targaryens, and he just keeps getting shot down each time. And I think that resentment is probably going to start growing. Yeah,
a castle is the answer. A castle in the Reach and a couple of kegs of Arbor Gold will probably do it. Will you come back to my super chat about where the season will end? Thank you for reminding me. Perfect timing. I was sure it would be Tumbleton 1, but now I fear we may have a blank dead by the last episode. Who are you talking about? The main thing that people were wondering is, will we see the battle over the God's Eye this season, and I really don't think so. There's a couple of reasons. One, it's if you just look at everything that's left to do, I think it slots more into season 4, and also you don't kill off Damon and Aemond before season 4 and then hope that people come back to your show. Like, these are very interesting characters. You don't want to kill them off in between season 3 and 4. So what else were you talking about though?
And I guess I feel like we just need to build up the Rhaena, Damon, Nettles stuff more, and I don't know if we could do all of that in the episodes we have left and do God's Eye. I think we need a little bit more time to breathe with that.
I suspect that it is still going to be Tumbleton, and that there will be two different events there. Like, we're going to get some action at Tumbleton next week, but it's not going to resolve it. And I think we will see the betrayal by Hugh and Ulf as the mic drop at the end of the season, because it's like, oh shit, what now? Like, oh, we just lost 2 huge dragons. Rhaenyra's reign will have deteriorated in King's Landing. And so this is that moment when Rhaenyra's almost ready to flee the city. So somewhere in there. Go ahead, Estella.
I was just going to say, I agree. That makes sense.
Okay.
Now that you've said it. Yeah.
And Nettles, what do you think? Or are there any other events that you might think about closing the season with as like a sort of punctuation?
No, I just hate to guess. I'll let them tell me. I don't know where it'll end. I don't have the script, guys.
I feel like the betrayal,
Yeah.
That would be a very
Ulf will go back
moment.
to the Isle of Faces, and a green man will yell at him for taking a poop or something. I don't know. It's in all seriousness, no, they are doing something with the green men and Alice Rivers, so perhaps there could be a little bit more of that before the end of the season.
Do you think that is the Isle of Faces that they were on, that they visited?
No. I clarified that last week. I was wrong. It was just a riverbank on the God's Eye, where they weren't on the Isle of Faces, which means that the green men can just appear around in the area, apparently, like at Harrenhal.
Yeah, because I've seen some people saying it's not, but then I've seen articles saying it is, and I haven't known what to think. I'm like, I don't know what is going on with that.
I think the articles are wrong. They are repeating things that people like me said right after the episode, treating it as the Isle of Faces. I don't know that did you watch Inside the Episode from last week, and did they say?
I did, and they don't touch on it at all. And so I'm like, there really is no answer, which is kind of annoying. So I'm just going to go with maybe it's not. I said it was because I thought it was. Because, like I said, articles were saying it was, but now I'm not so sure.
It's just this one shot that makes it look like it's connected to the land next to Harrenhal. It's hard to say. There could be lake in between there. When I first saw the preview of it, I didn't think it was, because you shouldn't really be able to see the lakeshore from the Isle of Faces. Like, it shouldn't be just like a stone's throw away. Like, it's a big ass lake. But it's hard to say.
It didn't look special enough.
No,
me, as
it
a
didn't.
Person, like,
no
I was
mist,
expecting
no fog,
or like I don't know,
no flying birds,
no
ravens.
weirwoods.
Or I would think like something like the Crannogman, like it's supposed to look like mist and fog, But Adam of Whole Turn Valerion does go there, so I was like, was that the show's nod to it? Because that's so.
I think they are taking that Adam stops by the Isle of Faces thing and expanding it, essentially. And they are sowing the seeds for it.
He seemed to be the only one not bothered by what he was seeing there, really. So I could see, like, with that. Because, like, it seemed like Hugh and Ulf were a little spooked, whereas Adam was kind of chill about it. So I could see him returning and, like, maybe, going deeper and actually going to the Isle. I hope so.
And I also like that they're showing us the green men might appear out of the woods near the God's Eye. Like that makes sense. We don't know how they get around, but it's not a stretch. So, Hugh might have altruistic reasons for turns to protect the little folk. Yeah, it could be. The fact that his wife there is like the big, obviously it's going to be something with that. But like I said, she's sort of a proxy for the small folks. So that could be one and the same thing. We will see.
Or he doesn't turn.
What's
also he might not turn.
We know that Rhaenyra knows that his wife is there because they talked about it. When when he was like, send me there because I do have a stake in things. So they know. So if Rhaenyra orders him to attack the city, like she should know, like this could be a problem for him. Yeah.
But also, just like we never in a million years thought that Nettles or that Rhaena would come in and Sheepstealer would go crazy and do what happened at the Battle of the Gullet. Like, same thing here. Maybe it could be like an oopsie. Hugh was never bad. They just said that in the books. Actually, it was an accident and poison. I don't know, like all this stuff. Like
Vermithor just tripped and killed a bunch of people.
He sneezed.
Dragon sneezes are deadly. You got to be careful.
No.
That'd be cool to see a sneeze.
So let me just double check okay, there's a couple I missed. Rhaena, death is a reality of battle. It wasn't truly her fault. Her intention was to help. As the knots remind us in Stargate SG-1, sometimes the very young do not do as they're told. Yeah, so again, it's the difference between the intention. You know, like she was trying to help. So it's obviously an accident. But that doesn't make her not responsible for what happened either. So, but we went over that.
You can be a good person and it could still be your fault, too.
Well, it's clearly everyone in the show is attributing some level of blame to her. I mean, her and Daemon are talking about Rhaenyra is going to be mad. We've seen Rhaenyra is mad. So, like, obviously, she's being judged as partially responsible. But at the same time, if we're talking about Rhaenyra, it's like, well, no, you went to war and you knew that your children were amongst your few dragon riders that you had. And even though she wanted to go and not Jace, it's like, yeah, your children are going to be at war. It's the same thing with Luke. Like, you sent him on a mission. He got eaten by Vhagar. And, like, this is part of going to war with your family. Wrath of Khan. What was your question about Aegon? We have hit him a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
How could it be Aegon did he say his member is gone? Oh, yeah, no, we talked about that. Yeah, I called that gelding by Dragonfire. It would have been before then. Because like I was saying, I don't think that much time has passed. Like that could have easily been less than 3 months ago to where Helene is just starting to show now. So we will have to see. I mean, they'll clarify that, I think, who's the father was. And basically, like, we'll either get clues that it might be Aemond or we won't, and we'll assume that it's Aegon's. But probably Alicent will, I don't know. I think they'll bring it up. Yeah, Lady Jane's drip. We talked about that. She's on the screen here.
I'm really hoping we see more of the lads in the next few episodes. I want to see more Oscar. I want to see some Sabitha. I want to see some Black Alley.
And of course, you made a video about the lads in Black Alley, and you did a Black Alley cosplay, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So check out that. It's on Estella's channel. You've got a video that's going to be published by the time we turn the stream off, if it isn't already. What's that one about?
Oh gosh, no, that's my episode 3 review. I just got home, so yeah, it's a little late, but it'll be interesting to see in hindsight of what my thoughts were and predictions were. But yeah, hoping to post episode 4 thoughts sooner, probably in the next couple days. So
the point is, Estella combines incredible cosplay with incredible analysis and wraps it up and makes it in a video for y'all. So subscribe to the channel. We do appreciate it. The sheer enthusiasm.
And TikTok. Estella's TikTok famous.
TikTok, Instagram. I making videos on all the apps, trying to juggle it all. You know. What about y'all? What videos do you have planned coming up?
I'm gonna finally release a Drunk History Dance of the Dragons.
That'll be fun.
Part three.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
How much did you drink in the recording of the video?
No, this is a video from 2020, and it ended up being 5 hours long. So I've been editing it since 2020. So parts 1 and 2 are out. So this is not new content. This is how long it takes me to edit. But
anything having to do with Ice and Fire just takes a long time, you know?
It takes so long. I'm just not that experienced, but it's still great because like all my opinions like are before the show. So you kind of see the difference between like the show and like the books kind of. And so it's just like, yeah, totally That's wrong really about a lot of stuff. Because I always go with mushrooms telling. So yeah, so my Drunk History, it's pretty much mushrooms telling. So the show is like It's so different.
I was just reading an excerpt too that was like, you know, it was something with Rhaenyra at some point being betrayed, and she tells Mushroom like, "Oh, if only I could name you my hand," and Mushroom says like, "I'd rather be your consort," and then they laugh about it, and I'm just like, it's just so ridiculous but funny, you know, and I feel like we do miss out on that a little bit in not having Mushroom in this show, but I get it. Tonally, it would be a little crazy.
So this
Well,
is a
I'd
very
be here for it.
interesting super chat here. I was thinking about making a video about this to kill two birds with one stone. This was potentially going to be my video this week or some week coming up here soon before the end of the season. Yes, you know, like Nettles was saying at the beginning, show Rhaenyra is a lot more sympathetic than book Rhaenyra, even if you take into account that the Maesters are making her unsympathetic or whatever. Like, bottom line, the show character is a lot more sympathetic. And so, how will it go? If they give her the same ending as in the books, if they have Aegon feed Rhaenyra to Sunfire, she's roasted first and then eaten in 6 bites, it's not going to feel good. It's I question like the choice to adapt this story honestly after the way they ended Game of Thrones with Daenerys. Like,
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a problem. I'm not sure what all my thoughts are. Like to hear what you guys have to say about this, but I can see this like this is a car crash that is coming here.
Want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I think it could leave a bitter taste in some people's mouths, especially people that have not read the book. I mean, I think at this point it's pretty unavoidable knowing like the outcome in the book of Rhaenyra. And I think if
Joffrey
they
said
do,
it.
Joffrey said it, yeah. And if they do choose to do something different, they will really have to pull it off in a way that satisfies people. And so they're kind of teetering, you know, between a rock and a hard place with this ending. I'm curious to see if they can land the plane on it.
I saw
I
some
think
people,
they'll do it.
one person say maybe she'll ask
Yeah.
for it, like Lena,
Mm.
like, you know,
Mm.
I think the way to spin it is like it is a very metal kind of way to go out, like as a Targaryen eaten by a dragon.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it all depends on how they frame the scene. Does she go to her death bravely or something? But they've just, I don't know, man. They've really just played up the victimization of her, like all the bad things that have happened to her. It feels a lot less of this feels like her bringing this all upon herself, which is more what it feels like in the book. Like by the time she gets eaten by the dragon in the book, she's kind of earned it. You know, again, some of the biased accounts, blah, 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 blah. And that's not to say that I think Aegon is a good king or deserves to win or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it depends on how the next season and a half goes. But I am very curious to see how they do this because it's going to feel like Aegon is winning. You know, he eventually gets poisoned, but not right then. So when he feeds Rhaenyra to her dragon, it's going to be like, oh, so I watched this show to see that Aegon won, and that's that. That's gonna feel pretty. It's gonna feel bad.
The real
I think
question
they'll
is,
do it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the real question is, do we think her sons are going to be the sole witnesses, or do we think they're going to have Alicent there as well?
Maybe. Yeah. Alicent's in every scene anyways. Alicent's in Harrenhal. Alicent's the star of the show. You thought
Yeah,
it
I'm
was
not
Rhaenyra,
betting
but it was Alicent.
against Alicent being in any Rhaenyra scenes.
Honestly.
But no, I think they'll do it because I could see it being the story that they're telling because it's like, oh, look at Rhaenyra. She saw the white hart. She would have made such a good queen. But men bad, women good. And look,
Mhm.
she tried to make all these decisions, but the men took the money and the men did all this. And then it's like, and now you have to feel sorry for her because she died because she was a woman. There's nothing she could have done, guys. Men bad and woman good. The end. Like this.
My
I could see
partner,
it working.
I was going to say, my partner said if they really wanted to tug on people's heartstrings, if they had Alicent there witnessing it, they would have in the last moments it be Millie Alcock of her, like, seeing her childhood friend burn.
That's interesting. Always a fan of getting a Millie flashback. They haven't done anything with that so far, but
That would be something. That would be something.
I do think we're starting to see Rhaenyra move into the, like, better late than never, I guess, but she's definitely, like, making decisions now. So by the time we get to the end of season 4, it's possible that we will feel more like, yeah, she brought this upon herself. And obviously the greater message, George's anti-war is never going to, the Civil War hurts House Targaryen at the end of the day, as we've discussed ad nauseum. That's pretty easy to grok that. But this is going to be a brutal ending for Rhaenyra, and a lot of people are just going to go, so this is how Game of Thrones stories end, with a woman getting killed by her brother or family member, and too crazy to sit the throne effectively, like. And the screw up happened already with Dany's ending on Game of Thrones, as we all tend to think. But yeah, a lot of people are just going to be like, why did I watch this? I think. Because
her sons sit the throne, and it's her lineage that lives on, so she won in the end. I mean, sure, she dies, but then it's like, okay, it's like, Aegon, do you know you have 30 minutes? Like, even after he kills Rhaenyra, like, you're soon to follow, and so.
I do think we'll get the Hour of the Wolf, since they built up, Cregan. It's the only thing he does, So like we will get the Hour of the Wolf. I've always thought so. But they're going to need to do a lot of work with Rhaenyra to have this make sense. So we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
But I'm really thinking about it a lot now that we see Rhaenyra ruling in King's Landing.
We'll see. Yeah. I'm 50-50. They could do Mad Queen. She deserved it. Or they can continue on this route of, she's a really good ruler, but these bad things keep happening. So
yeah, and it's just tragic. Yeah. Maybe just try to make people angry at Aegon instead of angry at the show. Yeah, we also have Helena's end, in the books, I think she's dead by now. Like, it's kind of right around now. It's when they hear about Maelor's death at Bitterbridge, which happens before Tumbleton, so it would be like right around now. And of course, as we know, she maybe jumped to her own death, or maybe she was pushed. It's very 50-50, I think, when you read Fire and Blood. Could have been either. George does refer to it as a suicide in an interview. So it sounds like maybe he thinks that's what happened, I guess, now that I think about it.
I think the show's going to let her live like Laenor. She's going to be in Pentos with Big Daddy Laenor. They like, if you think it's going to be hard to kill Rhaenyra, it's going to be hard to kill someone that you might have coded as autistic. She going to be in Pentos.
The true ending is just, y'all know that video with the crabs dancing, the da-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's just going to be Laenor and Helena just na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Like the ending that we all actually want and deserve. So.
And we never see Dreamfire.
I think Helena's death might be at the very end of this season. Like, it might be one of those mic drops in the last episode.
We'll see. Anything could happen. This is fun. Isn't this fun, guys? We've read the books, and now we're just like, anything could happen. That's what Laenor's aliveness showed me. Anything can happen.
Dreams are possible, Fakes are deathless. No, I definitely think it's going to be awful. I think they're going to do the Helena suicide probably, and it will be,
Aemon.
It'll be tough.
Aemon does it. Aemon's like, you're pregnant?
Maybe she'll die at childbirth. Yeah, that would be a way to make it, change it a little, but still she dies about when she's supposed to. That could be.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Or she tries to not have a baby.
Because she throws herself onto the spiked moat when she hears about the death of her child. So her death would still be connected to her child here. That could be if they want to minimize the horrific violence to all of these different women, then maybe that's what they'll do.
I'm trying to think about what my rating is for this episode. Higher than last episode for me, but I'm thinking a 7.
You called last week. It was your 4, wasn't it?
Last week was a 4.
Oh wow, I really liked last week's episode.
I did too. Nettles was on one last week. Honestly,
I needed an oomph. I needed something more. I need like book. I just needed Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that you seem to like a lot of the scenes from last week, but then when it came time to rate the episode, you were like 4.
Exactly. Because as a whole, it just needed some zhuzhing, some spice of life. This one gave me more of that. Daron, Orman. Like, I don't need battles. People think, oh, if it's not a battle scene, it's not highly rated. No, I don't need battles, but giving me Orman, giving me Daron, giving me Damon meeting Nettles. Like, that's the oomph that I'm looking for. But was it perfect? No. I'm greedy. I could always have more.
Well, remember, you did see Orman's butt. So is that worth half a point for you? It is, right?
Orman's butt. Yeah. So you said you think I should do 7.5?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's what it sounds like. Yeah. I'm going to go like 8 to 8.5 for me. I'm a little less tough than Nettles. I think for an episode that didn't have a big battle, pretty awesome. Lots of dragon action, themes developed across multiple scenes. Ormond really, leapt off the screen this week. So I'd say 8.5. Yeah. I think it was a really solid episode.
Yeah, I feel like I'd give it like an 8. It was a solid episode, a lot of building up, very good. I feel like the 9s and 10s are really reserved for like that has to be a crazy showstopper episode. But this was very good. I really liked this.
Damon and Rhaena scene was very excellent. A lot of excellent stuff here. Yeah.
Rhaenyra and Alan, will they, won't they? Give him a little kiss.
That was a surprisingly good scene that came out of nowhere. They're taking the plot line of Aegon and Laurys, basically just hoofing it across to Rook's Rest, which they do completely off page in the books, and they're making that pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's
but
funny.
I would love it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's funny how Laurys, in small ways, is still like making sure he gets the better job than Aegon, It's like, oh,
He's
can
the
read.
better man.
He's I can read as well as you. He's like, yeah, go scrub the latrines. Yeah.
It's very funny.
No, but I would love it. Like, I do like the Larys and Aegon, but I want it to like more closely parallel like Arya's arc in season 2 and 3, like traipsing through, like kind of showing us the commoner's perspective. Like, I wish they would kind of like, it's good, but I just want a little bit more, like more like a little slower, like stopping at inns and learning people's names and like having to make decisions that have more consequence, kind of like Arya had. That's what I want to see from them.
I think we got the most of that this week. We got the broken men. We got the petty lord, whatever his name is, at Rook's Rest, who's running things. We got the Gold Cloaks roughing up the citizens in King's Landing. We got the citizens in King's Landing's concerned, represented by Mysaria, and they were debating about it. And then, of course, we see the Green Soldiers being kept within the citizens' homes, which is standard stuff. And then, of course, the sexual assault that follows, which is also, unfortunately, very common in this type of situation. So I do think they gave us a lot this episode for how the small folk are handling this.
No, definitely. I just wanted to see it like Aegon and Laird specifically. Like, their journey shows us that, just because I think it'd be good character arcs for both of them.
Yeah. And we're also seeing, it's a good way of showing that like some of those Mirish pirates have now turned bandit too. Like, they run into them, so I thought that was cool. Are we ever going to get some Cannibal Corlys answers? Yeah.
No, come on. He keeps saying he's a seaman, not no dragon rider. Come on, guys.
Look, my Cannibal video is doing very well the last few weeks, so I'm going to say that maybe we'll see Cannibal. But I wouldn't bet on it.
No, there's a theory that Corlys rides Cannibal.
Not rides Cannibal, but was like supposed to ride Cannibal. Like, Cannibal flies over Corlys's funeral, gives a salute, and there's a whole theory why that might make sense, which you can find on my Cannibal video. But yeah, if they're cutting Nettles, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, for sure, we're not getting Grey Ghost, so womp womp for me in the chat.
Yeah, Grey Ghost is not happening. Does this mean Nettles is Daemon's daughter? I don't think so, Tiresias, but you could. The show doesn't really confirm the book canon, However, some people in the chat are theorizing that maybe they did this because George told them that was his interpretation of Nettles and Damon, but that's just a guess. We can't say that anything is confirmed. Is Tylan dead? No, Tylan could easily wash up on shore. I expect that he will at some point, yeah. Womp womp, Grey Ghost. They could introduce, Grey Ghost's main plot is that he gets into a fight with Sunfire when Sunfire flies back to Dragonstone. They could introduce Grey Ghost for that, but I think they would have mentioned the name if they were going to do that.
Yeah. It's interesting, in the season 1 book, they mentioned 3 wild dragons living on Dragonstone, but I think that's kind of been dropped at this point, considering Sheepstealer was not on Dragonstone. I don't know if we'll see Cannibal. I don't know if we'll see Grey Ghost. So
I wouldn't rule it out. I'm holding out hope for one or both, but not betting on it.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yes, Tylan was tossed overboard in a place where it was very shallow. That was the whole point. Shallow water. He has armor on, but he's not very far down there. So if he can manage to get a couple of those heavy breastplates off, then he should be able to swim or even walk out. And speaking of walking out, Nettles is taking care. Oh, she's probably her kid. She has a kid, so. Not me. Me and Estella, kid free, no responsibilities but pets.
Yep.
But that's how dedicated Nettles is. She comes here,
I was gonna say
child for 2 hours. No, she doesn't do that.
I was going to say, too, I see a lot of people, and I've been seeing it more and more, people saying that House of the Dragon is the true retelling of Fire and Blood, and that Fire and Blood is wholly unreliable, and I just want to say that kind of annoys me. I see them as coexisting separate canons. I see House of the Dragon as an adaptation. It's very fun, but I do think there are undeniable elements in Fire and Blood that are true, like the existence of Maelor in the way that he exists, like certain public events and stuff that don't happen in House of the Dragon, like the Rhaenyra Alicent age discrepancy stuff. And like, it's fine for them to be different. I don't think one needs to be superior to the other, of like, this one's the true one, this one's the,
Yeah, correct. It is just an adaptation. It is not meaning to be the verdict on what the truth is of Fire and Blood. And like I said, George has said something to the effect of he doesn't necessarily have a decided answer for a lot of this stuff. He's created it as a Hall of Mirrors, which was a lot of fun for him. He didn't have to pick. He, threw out 3 good ideas for every mystery. So yeah, it is well said. It is not the truth of Fire and Blood.
I agree, Stella.
It's reasonable to speculate. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I agree with Stella. If I read that stuff, I would be canceled again. I would be ranting like, no, it's not the truth. Like,
well, I saw some say, they said, I always thought that Rhaena was Nettles in the book. There's hints that Rhaena was Nettles in the book. And I'm sitting here like,
Rhaena who has mourning? Rhaena
and I'm just like, there's this kind of
dragons, one rider. What's going to happen?
That like the things that are changed in House of the Dragon are true, and they've always been true in Fire and Blood. And I'm like, it's okay for them to be separate, different things.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, and even if someone did say that, like someone official, like we get to have the show and we get to have the books. Like they're like your imagination, like whatever truth you wanted that you glean from the books would always still stand. Just like the show Game of Thrones and the books. Like, they're separate canons still.
Exactly. And I was going to say, I had never seen anyone before say that when Fire and Blood was out, of like, I think Rhaena is Nettles the whole time, until this change came about in the show, and now I'm seeing more people say it. And I'm just like, I don't know if I believe all of y'all that you believed this in the book the whole time, Just saying.
It's just a change. And you can see why they did it, because Rhaena doesn't do much in the books. She's basically sent to the Vale and sits on the sideline. Mourning Hatchet is important, but she doesn't do anything with mourning. There's nothing for the actor to be doing on screen. And so instead of casting Rhaena to do nothing and then casting Nettles to do hers, they combined it. You can see why they did it. It does make a certain amount of sense, and it kind of is working now. So, I mean, makes sense.
I mean, personally, I think it's a case of too many black people. Like, you can only have like a certain amount on screen. So it's like, if we have Black Velaryon family, one more would tip it over the edge, and bad things would happen, guys.
I have seen people take that angle on it. I don't think that's it. I really think it's just like, show adaptation stuff. They added a lot of black people that weren't in Fire and Blood, if you want to say so.
But just that one.
The thing that I've seen people say that like it's lousy that they swapped out Nettles for Rhaena, as if like, oh, we've got one black girl riding a dragon, we don't need another one. Like that's kind of a angle on it, right?
Sorry, my dog is going crazy in the background.
What does he have to say about it? He's just
he's really he's upset that he was not cast as a dragon in the show, is what he's saying, my corgi.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Nettles, of course, in the book, she's described as having brown skin. There's like, obviously, like Summer Islanders, not the same as African American or, things like that. So it's not, we're speaking loosely here. But the bottom line is that I think that they cut Nettles and combined her with Rhaena because that's what shows do when they adapt. They combine characters. I don't think there was a racist intent on Ryan's part. You could say that maybe it's insensitive or some of it comes across tacky or whatever, but I don't think that was the logic behind it, Just my opinion.
We'll never know. Well, yeah, we'll never know. Maybe we will, but
I'm sure this will send the chat into a tailspin.
No way. No. The chat would never do that.
Never. They would never do that.
No.
Anyway, the main thing is that we've known that Nettles wasn't going to be in the show for a while. Like, we got sad about this like 2 years ago. So given that they have done that, the Rhaena stuff is about as good as you could hope for. Like, it's pretty interesting. The scene we had today was very compelling. It does give Daemon some interesting character growth. It doesn't happen if he's just cheating again. We talked about that. So
yeah, it's getting better, and I roll my eyes when I say that. But because I feel like they could have done a lot more with the character of Rhaena, like in season 1 and 2, maybe to just endear her to us a little bit more, or just have more Daemon scenes being a father, just so they could hit harder now. Mm-hmm. But it's getting better. At least it's not getting worse. During season 2, I was scared that it was getting worse, because when we kept seeing the shots of her like running in the woods, like, we're just like, stop showing us these scenes. Oh, I'm drinking water, guys. Stop that. But now they've fixed that, so it's definitely getting better.
So Daemon would have been cheating on his wife in the Vale earlier. I guess he hasn't cheated on Rhaenyra other than potentially Nettles.
On screen. We haven't seen him cheat on screen, but who knows? Some people might have considered the Alice tryst, even in the books, maybe a little cheat. Alice at Harrenhal.
Yeah, I guess that isn't in the books, though, and they didn't really show us that as being overly sexual. So no, I was talking about when he was married to
Rhea.
Rhea?
Yes, Rhea Royce. Thank you. Although that honestly is not like they were married, but like very politically only. So this is like the least bad kind of cheating, I guess, like in the universe. Like it's Paramore class cheating. But yeah. The point is, I guess the point is like, we know that Daemon likes women and that he sleeps with different women and he goes to the brothels and things. So like, it's not interesting for him to have an affair. Like, it's not really, this is more interesting for Daemon's arc is the point I'm making.
A couple thoughts. I was going to say, it's interesting how in Fire and Blood it says, after they take King's Landing and Rhaenyra brings Mysaria to the courts, that, she allows Daemon to continue a relationship with her and sleep with her, and she doesn't really care. And then there's some like crazy line in there about how Rhaenyra then slakes her desires by eating sweet meats and cheeses and things. Yeah. And they've kind of reversed that by instead giving, Rhaenyra that little bit of a flirtationship with Mysaria. And then my second thought is I think, yeah, with the Reyna stuff last season, it really was just like one scene of her running around in the Vale. And I would have really liked to see her maybe have tried the, Princess in the Vale politicking game that we see in Fire and Blood and then just be like, it doesn't work for me. Because in this episode, she quite literally says, oh, what was I supposed to teach those boys? How to be a political princess or something. It would have been nice to see maybe that just not fitting with her and her still having that kind of emptiness of like, no, I need to be a dragon rider. I want to be a dragon rider, as opposed to her just running around the Vale and having that stretched out for so long.
Yeah, that would have made last season better, because last season is when it seemed like a kind of a silly plot line.
Yeah.
It's starting to come into shape now, but
yes, yeah, for sure.
Estella, your mention of sweetmeats makes me remember Justice for Fat Rhaenyra. We were robbed. I wanted to see the Martin Lawrence Big Mama suit on Emma Darcy, and they robbed me. They never give me what I want.
Well, and plump Helena, plump Aegon. I think it could have been an opportunity, to cast some shape diversity in actors, but maybe not the best representation consider. I mean, Helena's a good person. She's largely liked by everyone.
Yeah.
Not really a controversial figure. So would have been nice to see, but
it's kind of hard to take one actor and show them gaining weight over the course of a show. Like, how do you do that if you don't go full fat suit? I'm not sure. So it makes sense that they what they have shown is that they've shown Rhaenyra being a little capricious. Like, she's worried about her coronation. She's very sensitive about the graffiti. So we're seeing this sort of like petulant kind of capricious streak in her that's sort of similar. But yes, there is thick Rhaenyra artwork out there. It's tremendous. It's out there.
It's all we have.
Yep.
Yeah. So do we think that will they give her Nettles' ending? Will Rhaena go full Fire Witch, Mountains of this living with Sheepstealer in the mountains? They're basically using that Nettles ending as Rhaena's sort of, I'll just live here by myself then in the mountains, but will she do that at the end?
She can't do it in the end, because then that means that Marjorie Hightower is never born. She needs to father the next Hightower line.
Oh, yes, she does. She has a lot of Hightower sons to pop out. You're right.
Nah.
But
so what do you think is going to happen to Sheepstealer?
That's why these characters shouldn't have been combined, because it shows that like that scene where she's like, I'm just going to live here in the mountain. Like, that almost is spelling it out that, she's going to become the Fire Witch. But you can't be the Fire Witch and the progenitor of the Hightower line.
Yeah.
They could drop that, like, just who cares about the bloodlines down the road?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't need to agree. But I think probably more likely she will choose to leave Sheepstealer, or the Sheepstealer will die, one or the other. Because those would both be interesting things.
Yeah.
They'll do the Arya Nymeria. They'll throw rocks,
No. But you're right. Sheepstealer does have to die, because Sheepstealer's never mentioned after these events. Like, when we think about the dying of the dragons, like, Warning's one of the last, and then the one that Arlen sees, it's like, so Sheepstealer's not seen, not even rumor. So maybe something horrible happened.
Well, that's something I'd like you guys, let me know in the comments what you think.
Yeah. She
had daughters too. So is it 6 children or 6 sons? 6 daughters. Oh. Sorry, excuse me, I'm wrong. She has a lot of daughters to pop out. I stand corrected.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all daughters?
I did recently read about this, but I forgot, so I don't even want to.
Somebody in the chat will check in a second.
I do know that she's a direct ancestor of Marjorie Hightower. That I do know.
6 daughters. People theorize they may marry back into the Hightower line. Okay, all daughters. Can Rhaena claim multiple? No, nobody, so far as we know, nobody can do that. So if we're going to have mourning, then Sheepstealer needs to die. It's, renouncing the dragon bond is not something from the books. Laenor kind of did that, on the show. I don't know if that's a thing or not. So
They could also give mourning to someone else. Maybe Aegon 3. I don't know.
They could. Yes, they could. But Viserys doesn't have a dragon. His doesn't hatch, right?
He had an egg when he was on the ship.
Yeah, but it doesn't hatch. So maybe that'll be morning.
And they haven't given Jaheira her dragon at all. I don't, I mean, obviously we know how things end for her, but I don't know if they're ending the show at a certain point, if they're just going to be like, oh, these children are now ruling and there's a little dragon that hatches, and that's like the sign of hope for the continuation.
Well, yeah, Shrykos and Morgul really only come into it in the storming of the dragon pit, basically. So they can still be there. They might not even name, they'd just be like, oh, there were some dragons.
Yeah, some little baby dragons, yeah.
I do think they're going to give us a pretty good storming of the dragon pit. I bet you they will make that fully insane and epic. Mm-hmm. I certainly would.
That'll be nice.
It's one of the craziest things that's ever happened in the entire story. Like,
yeah,
an insane mob under the leader of leadership of a cult leader. We've got to just throw ourselves at the dragons and kill them. And like hundreds of people die, 4 dragons plus Cyrax and Joffrey. Like, that's a masterpiece of disaster.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, we should have been reintroduced to Joffrey again.
They've mentioned him, but we haven't seen him this season. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to start endearing us to him.
I bet you they'll just recast him for next season. Like, we're not going to see him this season, and they'll just recast him.
Yeah,
probably.
But they can make us fall in love with someone in one episode. So, with good writing, it could work.
Yep. Do you think the real Viserys II comes back? Well, we don't know. Like, they referred to, I guess we referred to them. They're like, Rhaena was like, oh yeah, no, they've been sent to Pentos. They're safe. But they said something like that, right?
I think the question is asking about the theory that the Viserys that comes back is fake. So it's asking, do you think the Viserys that comes back is real or fake?
Oh, I don't have any reason to believe he's not. I'm not sure what the point would be.
That's a big theory, because even I thought of it, because the point would be is like, this is why the dragons died, because there wasn't a real Targaryen to further the line, because Viserys gives birth, the person who succeeds Viserys is Aegon the Unworthy, and then there's no dragons after that, and then Targaryen line really falls into decline. And then if you want to go further, Daenerys is able to hatch dragons because maybe she's not a product, because like she's a real Targaryen.
But how would Daenerys be a real Targaryen if Viserys II is fake?
Yes, basically, it's like some people who think that she's not the Mad King's daughter.
You're gonna make me mad. All right, we've had a good stream here.
I'm not saying I believe in it. I'm saying that I know of it. It's deep. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can get into that. I don't know anything about that theory, except for I don't like the cut of its jib. Estella, you have thoughts?
Well, my thought is with Viserys II. I mean, he comes back, and his brother recognizes him, though. Correct? I mean, I would hope that he can clock who his brother is, but it's you could If I'm going to play devil's advocate, you could argue of like maybe he wants to believe it because he really misses his brother, feels guilty. Could be. I don't think so, but it's an interesting thought.
It's an interesting thought. To play devil's advocate, they do try to make Aegon 3 seem like, feeble-minded, kind of like not all there upstairs, traumatized. So like, someone easily manipulated.
No, he's not feeble-minded. He just he's just scared of dragons. That's all. Dragonsbane?
Yeah. I thought the Maesters kind of wrote him to be like kind of questionable, like not like a puppet.
He just comes off as like super depressed.
Yeah, depressed.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see how Viserys II is fake. It doesn't make any sense to me. It means the whole line is fake. I don't buy that.
Someone said when it comes to Daeron's hair, in the scene where they interrogate the soldier, they zoom in on his hair at the end and you can see it turning silver on the sides.
Oh, really?
I hope
I
that's the
buy
case.
that. I buy that.
That would be sick. I would be very entertained if Ormond is making him dye his silver hair and then be like, you have the tainted blood, but you must pray to the seven. Yeah, like
Making him dye his brows too. He's like, no blondes, no blondes.
No blonde. I could see it.
get
Like I
back in
can't.
there and dye your roots again.
Yeah.
Smoke this whole pack of cigarettes and stab this guy.
Smoke this full pack of cigarettes.
And
He's
pray to the
smoking
seven.
cigarettes and he's dyeing his hair himself. He's painting it. It's like it's Ormond's, really cursed hair salon. He's bleaching one kid's hair. He's dyeing another kid's hair. He's doing crazy drugs.
And here, finish this stab for me.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
shotgunning him by force. No, as a green hater, I love this portrayal. Like, damn, almost no redeemable Hightowers. Like, I know y'all are giving it to Gwen, but come on, Gwen.
Oh, I still love Allison. I find Allison to be tremendous. I love Allison.
No, overruled.
She's been very comedic too. Like her look of just not being able to fix her face and like hide that is not Daron. Her just like, unintentionally funny, complicated person, but I think fun. I think Aegon's fun too. I don't like him. He's not a good guy, but he's fun.
So let's close off with a favorite scene. Infinity Paradox posing the question, what's the most intriguing scene? I would have to say a little bit of a tie. Well, I won't name two. That'll be taking your guys' guesses. I'll go with Ormond and Daron and this whole stuff about the half-blood and the tainted blood and Targaryen versus Hightower. I think I was pretty enraptured with that.
I'll say Daemon and Caraxes, that whole thing, because it's like it shows that like, oh, even Daemon doesn't have control of his dragon. I was like, that was tea. I was like, okay, all right, there's more lore, and then like just the fun of him being led to surprise, like, oh, you don't know where I'm taking you, and then the dialogue with Rhaena and seeing some redeeming qualities from Daemon there. So that whole thing.
That was going to be my other pick. Yeah, Estella, what was it for you?
That's a really good one. I was going to say, too, it parallels really nicely with last episode with Daemon kind of having his, like, power trip fantasy of, we have the most dragons, let's go conquer the world. And then we see here it's like, this reiteration of Viserys is kind of right, and we don't fully control the dragons, Daemon. They do have a mind of their own, even if we're bonded to them. So I liked that. I'm going to throw out a silly one. I'm going to say Alan and Rhaenyra, because we're getting our cats in the Red Keep finally. And I have been on one about that, and I'm very excited about that. I hope next episode everyone is just holding a cat, and in each cut there's just more and more cats showing up in the scenes. I would love that.
They'll be tripping on the cats. Yeah, I was so happy for you, honestly. As soon as they said cats, I was like, oh, Stella's gonna be so excited.
Yeah, I love a goofy animal. So,
yay!
Yeah, and also just like more character for Alan, which is really lovely, because I feel like in the book we don't get too much of him, and they're really building him up as like a really interesting guy, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. I love Alan. Love the portrayal. Yeah. He's super interesting character. A lot more than he was in the books. But it makes sense because we know he goes on to have this reputation as the Oaken Fist, fully the heir of Corlys the Sea Snake. So they're creating a character that very believably could do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just a solid guy.
Have you seen Raised by Wolves, Estella?
I haven't, but I've heard. I think there are some actors in this that were in that. Is that correct?
Lady Jane and Alan are the main characters. So he's like a big HBO actor. So I don't think they were going to waste him.
Oh, fun! That makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's very smart. I was going to say too, with the Daron actor, someone pointed out to me, they're like, oh, that actor is playing Link in The Legend of Zelda. And I was like, oh, so it makes sense that he's not just a throwaway random squire. That makes sense that he is Daron. So.
Yeah. Yep. I think I heard that too. It's when I started to think, okay, yeah, this is going to be a fake out. Raised by Wolves. Yeah, I'm a fan of that show. It spiraled out a little bit in the second season to the point where it's like, oh, do you guys have an explanation behind all this weird lore that you're doing?
It was good, though. It was good.
If you're a fan of like the later Alien movies, like Prometheus and Covenant and stuff, you can see that it was Ridley Scott working out a lot of the same ideas. So thematically, I find it to be absolutely fascinating. Yeah, I thought it was a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, I love any kind of a fun sci-fi thing. I mean, I was a very big fan too of the first season of Westworld. Any kind of fun, big prestige sci-fi thing is fun.
Yeah, and Alan's he's father. He's an android whose his characters is just called father, and there's another android that's mother, and it's an incredible performance because like
That's fun.
acting as an android is one thing, but they're also acting as androids that are flirting with sentience and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's a good portrayal.
It's a better Westworld.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I will definitely have to check it out. Because it sounds like too, they're also like androids, but flirting with sentience, but also flirting with. It sounds like maybe some programmed roles of mother and father. That's kind of cool. Of like just the dynamics you'd have to do to play that. Yeah, I'll check that one out.
There's some freaky deaky floating upside down, like satanic ritual vibes stuff going on. Like there's some weird stuff. There's like
You have to watch YouTube videos after each episode.
You do.
See, that's what I like though. That's really
You
fun.
have
I love
to.
it when it gets weirdly esoteric and kind of occulty and like questionable, and you have to go on a deep dive to be like, what did I just watch? I think that's really fun. So this is a glowing recommendation.
There you go. There you go. And since I have just recently finally rewatched Dark, which I've been wanting to do forever, I'll just remind everyone, if you haven't watched Dark, you should watch that. It's my favorite TV show ever.
Really?
Yep.
Over Game of Thrones?
Oh, yes. Miles above.
Come
Miles.
on, man.
Yeah. It's
There's
on a
no
different
sex
level.
in that
Like
show.
the writing, it's a show that stands up to A Song of Ice and Fire. Like you can analyze the show the way you do Ice and Fire, and not many shows can do
Yes.
that.
It's Dark is really good, but there's no sex. There's no eunuch jokes. No, I'm being tongue in cheek. I'm being tongue in cheek.
There's sex in
But-
Dark. Yeah, there's sex in Dark.
I mean, you know what I mean, like Game of Thrones smut. You know,
It's
Game of
it's just
Thrones.
all twisted. Everything is twisted. And there's nephew aunt incest from some of the main
Yeah.
characters. You know, just like
Dark is good.
Danny and John, really. So yeah. All right. I think we're done here.
Dark is really
Okay.
good.
Thank
It
you
is.
very
Yeah.
much, Estella and
Okay.
Nettles. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to their channels. Linked in the description below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This was a fun episode. I feel like they gave us a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah.
So this was a fun after show. Some funny stuff, like you said, Estella. Definitely some chuckles in this one. So yeah, see y'all next week. Thank you very much. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought, and I'll talk to you soon.